Oh, yes. So Number two. Hello. It's okay. I got this one.
Today I got 19 here too.
Thank you. All right. 6. All right, it is 7:02. I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting, regular board of directors meeting for Mosquito Fire Protection District. Shar, would you do roll call and announce our quorum? Thank you. Here. Bill.
Present. Present. Here.
We have a quorum. All right. So if everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. So we will move on to public comment. So this is where the public may address the board on any district related item not included in this agenda. We ask that your comments remain civil and respectful. Any lack of decorum will result in the forfeiture of your time. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes in duration. So public comment is on any items not on the agenda. If you want to speak and make comment on any specific item that we do have on the agenda, there will be time for that during each agenda item. So do we have any public comments? Yes. And we have we have a cordless mic for you, my dear. If not, though. This is fine. Yeah, she'll get that one in. And
Linnea, thank you for.
Sorry.
Yeah. Back is out. Thank you for getting the letter to Jolene for hazardous and met with the chief today. We have a placement, so hopefully that antifreeze tank will be up here next week.
Thank you again.
Citizen online has an hand
We're
up.
putting that together. Okay. We do have public comment online. This one's not. Are we getting? Is 6? Hello. Is that one?
Check.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, if you don't mind, give me just 1 moment. We're trying to get our microphones working here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. You can go ahead.
Person online, go ahead.
Concerned citizen. Concerned citizen, you would like to hear your comment.
I'm sorry. Whoever that was breaking up. Did you tell me to go ahead?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I noticed something with your agendas, and it's a requirement that you guys put a description on each agenda item, and it doesn't have to exceed more than 20 words. But going forward, I would like to see that because I'd like to know exactly what each agenda item is for. And the Brown Act does require it. So thank you.
Do you want to take that?
Which item you're referencing? Because they look like they all have some kind of verbiage after the agenda item. Do you have any specifics that you're referencing? Because it looks like most of the, if not all of the items have some kind of comment after them. I mean, chief's report doesn't.
That's okay.
Concerned citizen left.
Okay.
Well, they're still there.
No, I didn't leave. I was going to look at the agenda. No, under each little item, there should be something that says, what something is about, like paper issue paper PG&E Rock Creek Road project. There should be a description on there because there's separate little items on there. So going forward, if you could please put some sort of description, I would appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Concerns that have been, so one thing is that we do, disseminate the board packet, which then any place where it says issue paper, there is a corresponding issue paper attached to the board packet that should be able to be found on the website. No, it's just the agenda. Okay. Okay, so, yeah. Requirement, yeah, it's a requirement is between like 4 and 20 words or something. How would we have a,
Taking a note, we'll
sorry,
probably.
yes, okay. Okay, we will take the note and, look into it. We appreciate you. Anybody else? Karen? Sorry, please do. Thank you.
Unless you get one of those to work.
Yeah.
So Lenny Black got an invitation to come to what I will call an organizational roundtable without the table. And that came from our chief, and I don't think we've had that I can remember since 2015. So I wanted to say how much I'm thinking of the Mosquito fire station as well as myself, how much we appreciated that opportunity. As we all see, have an opportunity to talk. They let us express good, bad, and indifferent, and put all of it to heart. So going forward, I just felt like the communication is just going to be so much better, and I just wanted you to know how much we appreciated it. I want the rest of the community to know how much we appreciate it as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. So do we have any more public comment in the room or on?
None seen here.
None seen in the room, none seen online. So, in public comment, there is a space before comments. This is also, so I'm again, bear with me, I'm learning more about agenda stuff here as well. So as far as, committee reports, and this can help, keep it possible for, district auxiliary to give there in the beginning anyway, since they are not an MFPD committee, we would ask that you make your, report in the public comment. And then that could be at the beginning of the meeting, and yeah.
That's here.
All right, so the correspondence, what was that? Yeah, if you're ready.
Your foot.
I'm your team and the district of Mosquito. And we have our meeting tonight. And we, the only thing that I have to say is that we're looking at future events and possibly a pancake breakfast early 8. So we're working on the plans for that. And I'm happy to get the facility use form filled out in a timely fashion, which I probably will do within the next week. But my own question is that I believe that farm's going to give you lives. Is there any ETA on that?
Yeah, so, there's still, sorry, so Sarah at Ewing, the deputy general manager was on vacation, so there was a gap in that question back and forth, and so it is not solidified, but it should be pretty. So, yeah.
So when that happens, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. With anything that's different, maybe I'll just put some little notes in there so we kind of get everything covered. Cool. That's it.
Yeah. All right.
If I remember correctly, form is a part of the policy, as I recall, is it not?
The form itself, it's the indemnification required to go with it that our insurer requires. Yeah,
We don't have that as part of the policy.
It's not currently part of the policy. Policy
Needs to
committee
be.
needs
it
to
needs to be.
do
Okay,
that.
well then, maybe just a while because we'll have to go through the process and get through the board meeting, so.
But it is a priority, so
You don't have your mic on.
it is a priority. We will continue working on that, and get it out to the groups, as was promised when that meeting happened. I apologize, you're still here and it will still go out to those groups. So we have also we have received our copies of the, audit. And so the board members have theirs, but we also have a copy available, with Shar at the front. So those are accessible there. Oh, yes. Ah, where's my brain? So, we have obviously an empty seat here. And while, that seat will be filled, as was described online, the time frame worked out so that our board will acknowledge who that person is. The Board of Supervisors will then, appoint them at the March 10th meeting. So I am very pleased to announce that we have one amazing applicant. And that person is sitting right here to my right at the sound table. So, this is Miss Maria Rodriguez, and she will be coming to join our board in the seat up here next. Yeah.
We do not have to take a vote on it. Make some kind of.
By means,
input.
yeah,
Huh?
we absolutely can.
Yeah, I mean, I would think we'd need to do something to pass it, but then
Okay,
officially,
yeah. But. And
There was only one applicant, so it's kind of makes it.
right, so yes, whatever we need to do, we do need to bless it. And, we will need to then ask our, board of supervisors to, put that forward as their plans.
So I'll make a motion that we vote.
Okay,
second,
okay, so, all in favor of, putting Miss Maria Rodriguez up for our fifth seat, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's four. You'll be joining me officially. So then. I think that was,
But since she's now going to be a member, we can loop her into some committees right away.
that's what I was gonna say, so we definitely, when we get to things, we'll need to, keep that in mind when putting people where and whatnot, so. Okay,
Do it now before she can object.
yeah, right. So next is gonna be adoption of the agenda and approval of the consent calendar. I am gonna make, again, some, just, I'm gonna move. I'd like to move 7.12 up and 7.6 up. Just in case our, command staff does need to go down the hill or get a call. So my recommendation would be 7.1, 7.8. 7.12, 7.6, and then start at 7.4, 7.5, 7.7, and down.
okay, I also had asked, for order on these because there are some that need to precede others.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they're gonna contradict with what you just said.
Okay.
There's the order that was requested based on the fact that some of those have to precede some of the others on the list. And also, we should be taking on things that are actions that were out of the last meeting first, along with anything that was a carryover. So that's the way that's ordered.
Okay, this is the order you'd like to go in, or was this sent with the?
That's the
Okay,
order we'd like to go
okay.
in, yeah.
So what order does he have there since we don't have?
Yes, 7.1, 7.11, 7.9, 7.10.
Okay, so 7.1 is one, and then what? 7.11?
So then we do, so then again, we, do need to move up, in on his list, 7.2 and 7.3 are toward the end. So,
We'll have to move them up.
yeah. We need to make sure that these guys can. So,
Okay, so
how about if we're gonna move something up, we pull the corresponding issue with it?
7.9 doesn't need to go. anytime soon.
No, that's,
Well, I think you'll find that it will in a number of these items as we go down the list.
I'm gonna disagree,
Okay.
but we'll see.
okay, so for the sake of time, for the sake of making sure that our staff has the ability to go if they need to, we do want to make sure that this meeting runs appropriately, but also that these guys can do what they need to do. So again, the recommendation I have is 1, 2, 3.12.
7.9 is a carryover item from the meeting prior.
Okay.
Seven, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, we requested that they,
So it's also, while it is a carryover item, I appreciate that, we do need, so we will get to it, we do need to get to it and discuss it because it is a carryover item, but
I don't know if we win.
we had talked about having a second, well, yeah, we had talked about having a second at the board meeting last month, and that was agreed to as in policy.
But it has to go to policy. Okay, let's go and I'll argue then.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just go back up to Charlie, we're looking for an order. 1, 2, 3. 7.12. Then 0.6. Then 4, 5. 7 and down.
so you're basically ignoring my list, is that correct?
I'm not trying to ignore what you're saying,
I don't see if we made any changes.
so what I'm asking is if there's something you'd like to see grouped with those moved up, will you let me? Please, because I'm not sure where
So you moved 7.12 up that you wanted moved up.
he has 7.12 again.
5, 7, 12?
You wanted it moved up, she moved it up to number
No.
4.
If it's very close.
Okay, well, we do need to move forward, so I'd like,
It's not what I heard.
It's a new policy, it's a new change. It's not something we've had discussed before. Again,
Just let's start.
these things should be in the order of which you are taking care of old business, things that have been done, things that were actions, items, then working on the new things.
Let's do something.
I really appreciate that, and for the sake of this meeting, for the sake of getting through this stuff. With respect to our command staff here in person, I'm gonna do it this way, but if there is an item. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it looks. Like there's maybe 1 or 2. Okay, so let's move forward. Get them, be able to get out of here, and we will talk about the formatting of the agenda for next month. We can get this right. All right, so consent calendar. That would be the approved adoption of the agenda. Do I have?
No. You have on the minutes, December 18th special meeting.
So I haven't gone through the consent calendar yet. I'm
I
splitting.
thought you were.
Yeah, I'm
talking
splitting.
about it.
Okay, so let's go, so let's go ahead and go through the consent calendar. So approval of minute 6.1, December 8th, 2025, is there?
I want to pull 6.1 and 6.2 both out. I have comments.
Okay, so,
I don't think you should pull 6.1 out. This was the exact information that was given to you on the meeting prior. She wanted paper to have time to look at it. So why didn't she bring that information to the secretary so she could get the changes requested to the minutes and get them posted?
Unlike you, I do not go straight to the secretary to give items to be changed on the agenda. I bring them here. I state what I want, what I believe it to be based on my listening to the tape recorder. And I make those comments here for the board to either accept or not accept.
What kind of change?
Okay, when we get to the individual ones, I'll be happy to list them.
so
Okay, so
if we're talking about Bill, or you're saying there are substantial changes needed?
It's not, it's going right to my.
Why is it doing that?
I don't know, but fucking just turn it off. You know, fucking on her fucking, you there?
Can't see, I'm not host. I don't have the ability to mute them. Because I'm not host.
Okay, anyone on the line, would you please mute yourself? We appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so, for sake of time, are we looking at substantial changes that you're recommending or minimal to be talked about right here?
I mean, it's their list. I have a whole page full of notes. I don't know if that's considered substantial or not.
Okay, so let's start with, 6.1. December 18th, 2025, regular board meeting. These ones that are in the board packet are, corrected with, stuff discussed at the last meeting, and they were tabled, for this purpose.
Okay, 7.1, we had. Okay. All right, the thing with 7.1 is, since it's a discussion regarding what the attorney says, I think. It probably needs to be said that discussion if the meeting will LAFCO 2.2 can be different people, yes, as you said. Since also what was stated by the attorney, according to what you read last time, but didn't show up in the minutes. But since we don't have a process, bylaws, or specific directions on the process for rescinding a prior vote, then the board can do what it wants to do. That's what you said, but that's not reflected in the minutes. And since this is something that might end up going back and having people reference, I wanted to make sure that the minutes actually reflected what the attorney said. I'd rather not have to pay the attorney twice for the same decision.
Fair. Post information and provide, distribute the information is from the attorney. I would say that's.
Yeah, I'll work on getting that. So let's,
Well, this is what you said at the last meeting, and I just wanted to make sure that the minute.
Getting into the details.
Right, I just
yes, I'm
think that
sorry,
the
the
minutes.
minutes are, yeah, the minutes are a reflection of what was said, so.
Okay, should I go on to others or?
So where we are at this point is how.
Mike, say what you're gonna say. Okay, so 7.1 I covered. 7.7, you stated that it was to maintain the current practice. But it never stated what that practice actually is. So, I mean, yes, we're gonna continue doing something, but it doesn't say what it is. I mean, there was talk about putting it back on the web, talk about keeping it lexical, there was talk about keeping a copy of the old and new in the office. And it stated to be brought back to the board in January, which didn't happen.
Go back a package, find the information issue.
I don't have the package in front of me for December 18th.
That's
Okay, but the minutes,
that's the package. And then it's not rated subsequently.
that's why the minutes should be able to stand on their own.
And every issue paper is gonna have to be documented on these minutes, and I already went through that when we talked about what minute coverage needs to be. We did the policy changes to try to increase the amount of things that are on there. You want to expand it even more, that's contrary to what everybody was suggesting at the time, so.
Okay, so on this one. Need to. I think we're with the amount you've got there, I think we're just gonna end up taking up more time than we have right now, so. Board, do I have a suggestion? Do any of you suggest what we should do?
My suggestion, you don't come to this meeting and have to go through the minutes to create them. And what I have done is provided this, any changes that I saw was needed based on the information that was provided from the secretary of their staff. And then made those inputs so that that process could take place offline. We're not having to do it in this meeting.
Well, I have a whole list here. You want me to just pass this to Shar?
Well, as long as all of us see it and understand it before we show it, that's it.
Thank you, sir.
That's exactly what happened this one last time. You know why that all the stuff that's in yellow is what was correct change in the meeting. So you could read them and have them ahead of time to read and know what was going to be changed.
But 7.18, for example, says discussion, but in reality, no discussion ever occurred. So it should say no discussion, not discussion.
Which I What number?
7.18. Also under director's comments. David Blaine resigned
Again, fine.
and nowhere in the notes is to say it.
So,
Have extensive comments to make. My suggestion would be is document those comments, bring them to the meeting, because that will be in the package, so you will have seen it. And that information will be in the package, so people have it and are able to read it.
Yeah, the hard part is that it's hard to have this available in the packet when the minutes go out and get disseminated after the packet is being, yeah. So anyway, what I'm gonna say right now is that each have one of these, we should look at this. I'm gonna share one with Shar as well. And then
Which one you?
Yeah. It doesn't have to go through. Three, you only have to pass through one where corrections are used on it. Because we have the ability then to put the information back to the clerk or staff and they can make those inputs before the packet goes out the next time.
Negative, because of Brown Act, I can't have that discussion with all the board members until the meeting.
You're not discussing anything.
If I'm saying that you're wrong and I'm putting something forward as my point of view, that is by definition initiation of a discussion that violates the Brown Act. That's why it has to come to the board meeting. Then I present my comment here where the public has a chance to overhear my comments. And then you guys can look at my comments and either choose to like them, dislike them, or say they're all wrong. That's up to you. But I can't talk about this before the meeting. I have to talk about this at the meeting. In comment.
Okay, we're gonna have some extensively long meeting.
I'm okay with that.
a lot, yeah. While I appreciate that, I also do have two toddlers to come home to at some point, and we have people who do need to go home at some point. So then I'm trying to think through what the best plan forward is, because if we were to take this as it is and the board members were to look at it and then send email to one another, that's not appropriate. So
Ian, nothing of it I suggested. What I suggested
No,
is providing the information to the clerk and staff who is responsible for the minutes. They can take those inputs and confirm that what Bill or whomever is suggesting a change needs to be is accurate
Okay.
with regard to the audio, and then they can process, which is what she did. The clerk put this out in the package with those comments confirmed by Shar as to be adequate from her perspective and be in the minutes. None of that was discussed with any other board member.
yeah, this is saying right now, here we have these papers, and we're gonna then go through it via email, but we are gonna hand this to Shar and Shar will input it and we'll get it from there. So moral of the story, give me 1 second, concerned citizen. Moral of the story, we're gonna pull 5 or 6.1 for corrections. Bill, do you have?
And 6.2.
And 6.2.
6.2 was already.
Then why is it here? I listened to it and there's differences and there's my differences at the bottom.
Okay, so
What was presented in the minutes meeting at the last meeting. I don't understand how you can say there's differences now that you're gonna suggest it to be, it's already the.
one way or another, if we think we've already done the 6.2, one way or another, we'll pull in approval of minutes. Let's move on to these will go to admin will then send it out to us. So items to follow up from the January 26th board meeting, questions from expense report December 18th regarding Survey Monkey. There was some discussions. We do have a data collection coming, hopefully coming through in conjunction with county, LACPA, whatnot. So I would recommend that we no longer hold on to Survey Monkey. Does anybody else have any feelings on that, or can they go ahead and? Sorry. Okay, so do we need to take a vote, or can we just tell command, go ahead and?
Are you talking about just that particular item?
Yes, expense report from Survey Monkey, and we were just getting clarification, and we do need it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just information.
Okay,
I think that was just information that was to be brought back.
okay. And then items from expenses December 29, 2025 to be identified as R&R grants.
That was Bill's suggestion that we make sure we get that categorized.
Right.
I just want to make sure that action got taken care of. I mean, it was an open action to be confirmed.
Continue, yes, and we can, yes, okay. Do you know,
I don't know.
Command, would you be able to let us know if the identifications on the December 29th, 2025 expenses have been identified as R&R? If not, we can
We'll see that.
okay. All right, so
We saw somebody hand up.
sorry, concerned, yes. Concerned citizen and then Kim. Concerned citizen, go ahead, please. Sorry about that.
No worries. Just a friendly reminder not to step on anyone's toes. Public comment is required to be asked for before the board takes any action on any item. So I wanted to know if there's any bills to approve this month because I noticed there was not anything in the packet, like a check register. And I know that's required to be in the packet and to be on an agenda at a regular meeting. So it's very odd for me not to see that there. And then also, while I was listening to this very I don't know, I guess it was a discussion about the meeting minutes. The secretary or admin person, whoever's in that office, is the one that's supposed to be writing the minutes. And if the board does not approve them at the meeting, then they just make the amendments at the meeting that they're going to approve those minutes at. And then they go for a roll call vote and say what changes are to be made to the minutes. Just so that's a solution for you guys so you can avoid Brown Act violations. But going back to my other thing, I would like to know why there is no check register. Are we not paying bills this month? Or what? Thank you.
No bills were paid this month, I don't think.
We have a. Okay, any bills that came through, did not make it in time for the board packet. That's what I'm being told, so, but those usually do go through in the finance stuff. So, okay. Thank you, concerned citizen. Do I have, oh yeah, Kim?
Just a quick suggestion for the minutes issue, as Trent said, if they're going to consider ahead, bring it back, someone has the objection, make a vote anyway, not all have to absolutely agree every time. Make a vote, if the majority approves them, they're approved.
That's where my brain doesn't go, thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Kim. Again, as I said, I am learning this process as well, so we are growing, but we still have a little ways to go, so. That means at that, we will move on to issue items and 7.1 Chief's report, please.
Good evening. Dive right into operations.
Oh, there we go.
Challenging for district had clear intention to begin selling surplus equipment. As approved by the board and moving forward with the plan, also approved by the board, we have continued to experience setbacks. Each time we remedy an issue on one apparatus, one problem converges with us. These issues are not presented as a name, but an indication of long-standing gaps in planning, maintenance, capacity, and operational reality of space barriers. Our mechanic and mechanical work tirelessly to keep apparatus operational, but we reach a critical point where true investment in apparatus replacement and long-term reliability is necessary. We continue to reach support from Cal Fire Mobile Equipment in attempting to acquire bigger light utility vehicles. Progress has been delayed due to DGS restrictions. We do not currently have an update. It was available in seconds. Operations Battalion Chief Valerie and myself spent much of this month securing an agreement with PG&E. It can be addressed more fully in the associated issue paper. This effort would not have been successful without the work of our PIO, Megan Holmke. He once again transferred my notes to the clear and professional document that PG&E has approved. We are confident the board will support it. PG&E has obtained a permit for road closures beginning on Monday, March 2nd. Closures are scheduled from 8:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. Sunday night through Friday morning. The county's closure details have been shared with the board. PG&E will host a community meeting tomorrow here at the Fire Commission. Total calls for service this last board meeting, 17. Current fleet status is still utility 275 recommendations out of service mechanical, hopefully a bit by tomorrow. Engine 275 out of service mechanical reactor, 375 in service, water heater 75 in service, G7500 in service, build 75 out of service mechanical. Utility set our pressure engine 75 out of service being listed for sale as approved. Engine 675 in service, and both battalion rider in service, with the exception of battalion 7511, we'll be requesting some budget allocations for striking calibrating some lights as they can strict with Cal Fire. On the training front, 3 members continue to progress through the Divide Academy, which remains on track. Reports indicate they're performing well and are expected to graduate within the 16-week program. The district is hosting a driver operator 1A class led by Battalion Chief Justin Yelenick of Allen Emerald Fire. This class will have 9 students, 3 of which will be a firefighter. Operator 1B follows soon after. In March, the district will sponsor public safety first aid refresher. Refresher personnel who are not routine or are expected to attend, along with current PSFA certified. Grants. We're currently working with Ms. Everhart for FEMA to begin purchasing components for our refresher system. As of January 30th, 2026, grant management has officially been brought in-house, including oversight and coordination of the grant-related efforts. I want to extend a sincere appreciation, this is very clean, for her extensive volunteer hours devoted to grant management for the Mosquito Fire Protection District. Grant administration is often difficult, thankless work, and yet her efforts have directly benefited our firefighters and strengthened our district. Your contributions have not gone unnoticed. On the public information report, our PIO is reporting the district continues to urge community members to report hazards, blockages, or other public safety concerns by calling 911. Ensuring issues are properly routed and documented. While social media posts are appreciated, they do not guarantee notification to the district. When posting, residents are asked to include a specific location of any incident to help determine jurisdiction and coordinate appropriately with outside agents. Staff has been directed to submit all required materials for the 2025 year-end review report. We anticipate this report will be ready for presentation of the March 26th board meeting, after which it can be posted on the district website for public review. On February 9th, Battalion Chiefs Valerie Holmsky and myself met with leadership from Mosquito Crafters, Fire City Council, Volunteer Fire Association, Pilots Association, SCPO, and the district auxiliary. The gathering included an open meet and greet, question and answer session focused on collaboration, communication, and understanding the current curriculum of the district. We extend our appreciation to all the volunteer organizations for their year-round efforts.
Very much, sir. Do we have any other comments or questions?
I thank you. I thank you.
Right.
Okay. You probably get into the report. Be able to give us a kind of written about what vehicles we have currently and the ones we've sold or what disposition will get on those at the next meeting. Okay, that'd be appreciated. Thank you. And then you'd also mentioned in the last we had reporting of incidents going in that you would come back and report on how that's taken care of. Is that completed, the incident reporting to the state?
First,
Your question? Yeah. Incident reporting to the state had not been maintained and kept up with. Yeah, remember that? Okay. Yeah.
is that Enfer you're talking about?
Has that now been cleared up? I mean, good now.
The information that we have to report, people that have been reported, we are not compliant. We're going to finish before 2025.
a ton.
Thanks.
All right, any?
Yeah. Sorry, Taffy.
Regarding the disposition of vehicle safety selling, about a month or so ago, I had approached Lorraine, I believe, Department of Compensation Bill. Seldom since I had contacts in the fire district that went through, so I couldn't find it on the website, and at that time, they hadn't been posted yet, so if you could just at some point get back to me. Where the public can buy the sale pass.
Yeah, when they are.
Be out and we're meeting and have some of the. So. But I'm.
Kathy, Randy's gonna go through the forms and make sure that they're, good to go and sell them, so. Yeah. All right, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate the hours and energy that our wonderful acting chief, our battalion chief that are here. We got Bravo, Bellerive, Battalion Chief Mosquito, Battalion Chief Foley, and then as they were saying, these amazing community groups. We've got a lot really going well for us, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. So that was Chief's report. Next would be 7.2, issue paper PG&E Rock Creek Road project. And on this one, for some information and background, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Bravo.
So I'll run down a summary and the background really quick. The summary is we're recommending approval of the 120 day project agreement at cost time PG&E for the Rock Creek Road construction delivery. The agreement ensures uninterrupted emergency response as it consists of 39 maintaining continuous district coverage and provides full cost recovery. The Niagara Road closure associated with the PG&E and community emergency response. The fire apparatus. The district proposal that we set forth to PG&E is provide night coverage between 7 p.m. to 7. Sunday required maintain PG access and operation to the PG projected 60 to 120 working day. The initial part of this project is and we 27. At any given time, they will.
Something fell off.
Thanks. Sir. Love it. They will never have more than 500 feet of open trenching at any given time. Trenching will only be 10.5 inches wide. The point of having our personnel out there is a dedicated person retiring at the safety repeat every night with PG&E staff as well as safety officer on site. And as soon as we receive a dispatch, that'll be the point. Start our PG plating the road and start moving equipment out of the area. That equipment stage out of PG is told that their bidding is good something from seconds. At that point, it ends and it will not restart until the new Mosquito bridge is open. We've written this as a 120-day contract and then did an addendum on top of it. At day 110, we're supposed to meet, see where they're at in the process of whether this is going to go over or not. For fiscal clarity on their side, we're pulling incident numbers for every day that you're there. The documentation will be on what's called an ICS 214, which is an activity log. It will have an incident number, and once we get to an incident number, that will trigger our first meeting where we have the project, where to go, just like the light, and go from there. At day 120, the current agreement will expire, and we'll have 10 working business days to complete the project, of which we won't be receiving any funding from PG&E for that. But at day 140, we'll start charging again the admin fee, the hourly rate, and the rate. So it keeps both agencies honest about timeline to keep the project on track. So the addendum covers the part from day 120 through 130. Questions? they have, answer as best as possible. Well,
Okay.
Hang on, what do we got?
For those of you online, we do have a all minutes. So we can take a beat.
So where we got?
Okay.
Okay, are you going, am I going? Well, I think you're gonna put everything on hold. I'm not going.
Sorry, what was that?
And get a break, is that okay? Got time to get a drink?
Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear.
Oh,
We're gonna take a couple minute break so these guys can figure out what they need to get going here. And we will be right back. It is currently 7:47. Take a 5-minute break, be back at 8:03. Thank you.
For those of you online, a call came through, so command and volunteer is being dispatched right now.
There you go. Okay, for those of you. I said it was 7:47 back at 8:03 and at 7:53. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and try to continue with this. We did at least a couple members of our audience, but we're okay with our people. It is now 7:53. Where were we? Rock Creek Road project.
Okay, any comments? Well, as being the typical penny pincher, I'm supposed to complain about the not getting paid for the days 120 through 130. So I hope it finishes before 120, so we don't come to that.
And comment? Okay.
I don't think you have an answer. It's already on the contract. Also on background, to me is while the people will be on duty, they'll be on duty at the PG&E site. So that, you know, just that should be a clarification as opposed to them being on duty here at the station.
Yeah.
Dedicated, I think, and so to be clear, if we get a call in district, that person cannot.
Yeah.
That is the liaison, that is the AGA, that is the supply, PG&E experience. So we have somebody there to make sure that we have ingress and egress for apparatus, medics, and the community if necessary.
All right, so with this issue paper, we will need a vote. Someone, was there a motion to approve the Rock Creek Road project contract?
So I'll make a motion that we accept the Rock Creek Road project. So we at least have some kind of handle on what's going on.
I second that. All right, so we'll.
Before we vote, we have a concerned citizen.
Concerned citizen, I would like to hear your comments. Go ahead.
Great. I'm just going to use this time as a friendly reminder that you guys are required to have public comment before each time you vote. Thank you.
Thank you, concerned citizen. That one is my fault. As I said, I'm still learning these meetings and I can assure you I will do better. So.
Anybody else in the audience?
Anybody else comment, question? All right.
Nobody else?
I don't have any more hands online. All right, so with a motion and a second, we will go through. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No. So that was a 4-0 in a favor of approving the Rock Creek Road project. Next item would be 7.3, replacement of 2002 Type 1 engine with surplus Type 1. And again, I will defer to our command for this.
Okay, so engine 75 has been deemed surplus and we sold, cost of repair and maintenance far exceed the value of the vehicle. With that, we went on a scavenger hunt to try and put something to replace it. We came across Diamond Springs, Colorado, selling the 2002 Type 1 fire apparatus. It been out of service for a little bit, but it's currently sitting at Station 23 in Colorado County. It is a HME Rosenbauer. Currently has 80,000 miles and 4,600 hours on the pump. BC Valerie and myself went out and visited Diamond engine. And we're gonna take our mechanic out there to do the once over one more time. But we're requesting $40,000 purchase and an additional 15. No plan to use it all, but I knew they certainly not have a special to be able to outfit the engine. It's coming to us partially equipped, not fully equipped. And they are not moving the cows at that price. They said it was on us. So there's going to be some cost involved. We'll come to the radio, which is important because we don't have any spares. But overall, this vehicle is a short front overhang, for lack of a better term. It is Type 1, that's just 200 pounds. fires that we've had. Highly maneuverable, short wheelbase, not much longer than P75. And I don't think we'll find anything better at this price. Allow us to move forward with the first.
And Chief, that's to make sure that we are, able to keep our ISO. Is that what we need that engine? The pump rating and stuff?
Yes, that was, but it's also an engine that can serve multiple purposes. The size of it is on rotary pump, so it can pump both. Oh, it's also short wheelbase. Getting the district without much issues, and also has pump block chains, so as long as we have to buy change our hardware. So I can see this as being pushed out engine for most of our incidents if necessary. The tank capacity is there, After seeing most of the diamonds equipment, it is very apparent that they take very good care of their stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Where does the 40 things come from? The figure, the suggestion is take 15,000 out of reserves, so where's the 40,000?
But my best guess, looking at what I'm seeing, is it's all gonna have to come out of reserves. We have about 13,000 left in equipment. We have money that should be coming to us for when we responded out to OSHA, but I don't know for sure whether that has already been earmarked or not. So my expectation is probably this is all gonna have to come out of reserves, which means we'd have to probably have a special meeting to pull money from reserves because that was not put on the agenda as an issue item that we could vote on. I'm trying to go through the paperwork right now to see if there's anything that we have coming in that could cover this, and I'm still not sure. Give me another 3 minutes or so and I'll know more.
I was gonna say that PG&E permit approved, well, in here.
And the 5. So that should soften the blow.
It should at least cover that full 40 plus 15.
So
We have through.
they're well, it's that crowd. They pulled the listing for us, say, was on the. And rather than sit, the chief porter, chief mechanics.
Offered it to us, yeah.
Felt it. Rather keep it in the county for district actions. Then put it up on the auction block.
And Randy did see it up on the auction block and it was listed for like 187 or something, just FYI, so. I know, I'm just FYI.
Well, we have the money sitting in general reserves is my best memory. But it's not on the agenda for us to vote on today. So if we were to vote on this today, we would end up going negative. Given the fact that we're bumping into March. County doesn't really do anything with making changes in March or April, usually anyway. They might. So my thought is we could just go into the red if that's what the board chooses, and then we'd have a meeting, either be in a special meeting or the next board meeting to pull money from the reserves, just like we had to do for the 70,000 to cover the money that was supposed to be coming to us from the R&R grant that did not get properly categorized in a timely manner. we would have to go back into 130 and pull out, an additional, was it 55,000? It's in there. The question is, does the board want to do it? I mean, given the fact that our current engine 75 is non-functional. This is an engine that could replace it. It's cheap. I guess my other question would be, how long before this engine times out? Four years ago or 4 years left to go? So this vehicle we're talking about getting would not technically be legal to use based on those?
We'll send it.
No.
No. We've got a CHP man.
Okay, what's the right verbiage?
CHP man.
With that, everything expired.
I know that. I know the things in this station because we run so few calls and so few miles that I think we get additional time. Like we get 25 years instead of 20 years or something like that, but.
He's saying that's a solution.
Expired. Say. Working for it is back. Everybody, we don't have. In this case, 80,000 miles at that age. $1,000, we're not going to find anything. Number two, you don't have money for the time to wait 3 years and for $800,000 for your space. If this team gets what we need to do, now that that's the pump does, that it is leaving back for for us to look at getting a different solid apparatus or a new apparatus for that. This is the new way of fire hurts.
And then also Randy has been in contact with our command. They've talked about this engine. And he is aware and intrigued. So he's excited to buy the prospect because it helps us serve our ISO purpose. And he said, whatever he said the engine was, he was like, oh yeah, that was great. So.
And to get something that provides a safe situation. I mean, but this item is one of the reasons I suggested the reorganization agenda. There's going to be some other items on this agenda tonight that we're going to talk about. Budget, how much money we have available. I think we're basically going down. That's my concern, right? I don't think we have the money.
Well, at least we'll be able to put something back in the fund once the unit we have ourselves, so.
Yeah. And you know, if we had the luxury of it, having to wait, find out what we can get out of that, we can make a better decision.
Well, I mean, what was put forward is that in the event that we purchase this, we probably could turn around and sell it for more than we bought it for. Do we have the cash money today in the budget? No. Can we do a special meeting to transfer stuff? Yes. Can we just shove it off till next month? Probably yes. Because we do have money coming in from OES that has not arrived yet. We do have money in the PG&E grant, the PG&E work project that we're just starting. So I think both of those would allow us to purchase it if that's what the board chooses to do, and to hold off until next month to do a pull from reserves if the other monies don't show up before then.
Okay, so just so that I can let people be aware, I'm gonna ask for a motion and a second, and then we'll go to public comment. I should have done that at the beginning of this. Do I have a motion to approve the replacement with the Diamond Springs engine?
Just one more question.
One more question first.
The height of this sufficient to get in the bay doors? then I'll make a motion that we purchase this type 1 replacement and hold off until next month to arrange moving the monies around to cover it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, so can I get any public comments? Is there any stuff online in the audience?
Not seeing any
Seeing
hands.
none in the audience. Give it a second more, nothing online, all right. Let's go ahead and take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, and then all those not in favor say nay.
Nay.
Okay, so that was a 3-1.
One abstain?
Yeah, Kurt was a
Aye.
aye, yeah, so, okay. Next would be 7.12. So sorry, yeah, go ahead, Chief, let Diamond Springs know that we will purchase that, and then, we will work at making sure we have the money back in there next month, so. 7.12, amendment of policy. Again, go ahead and can you give us the update, please, Bravo? Oh, sorry, okay. Where did I was gonna say I had it, I don't have it right in front of me this second.
Something.
Okay. I'm looking for 7.12 in my packet. Oh, here we go, done. Okay, yes, okay. Give it a second for Bill to get back and. Thank you, gentlemen. Adios.
That hell spot.
Hey, what?
He's going to cover hell spot.
Okay. Okay, so since they're not here.
What's going on next?
Yeah, so the next on the list is 7.12.
What's 7.12?
That's the district grounds facility and grounds.
And do I have that?
That's not even that. I didn't find it. I got.
Well, why don't we just shuffle it to the end?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll move it back down. So then 7.6. Again, I'm gonna have to wait for them on that one, so. Next would be 7.4, issue paper policy committee bill.
Okay, so the issue paper is to recreate the policy committee. Recreation of the policy committee was tabled in January. The committee still needs to be reformed. Director Ugla and Director Williams were to contact legal for clarification about civilian member requirements. So my recommendations are: 1, reform the policy committee, assign board members, and then figure out what needs to be done in order to have civilians join. So first thing would be to make a motion that we reform the policy committee as a regular scheduled committee. It's not working.
Yeah, can you borrow? Can you use your mic for?
No.
So I think we have to, don't we have to do motion first and then a second and discussion? Okay,
What do you make?
sure, what do you got?
Not. And then the council, right? Mayor basically suggested that she would get with the clarification about one district council. Get back to us with that information.
Okay, did you do that
so,
yet?
That was one, so the whole thing that we discussed at the last meeting was that not to have those communications with the attorney without a board member present, so you and I were on the phone with legal, and we didn't get there, so.
So I made,
Well,
that's what, that, yeah. that's-
okay, but we could still do the first two and then we kick to the third one until you guys get a chance to talk to legal.
Okay, you take it with that.
And I'm gonna say no, I've made the motion to reform the policy committee so it can get done. We keep pushing this off and pushing it off, and there's a lot of things that need to get talked about.
I am going to say if we are gonna go through number one, I think we should hold off on the others because we will have another board member present at our next meeting. Who might want to participate in item, different things, so. You were making a motion, Bill, was that what's happening?
Yeah, my understanding is we have to make the motion, has to get a second, and then it
Then we
gets
can discuss,
discussed.
so your motion
So
is
my
to,
motion is to reform the policy committee as a regular scheduled committee.
and we will hold off on the other steps.
And then we'll see where we go from there. We may not get a second, we may not have to worry about it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
My motion is to reform the policy committee as a regular scheduled committee.
And is that to maintain the existing membership?
No, that would be, we'd have to reform a new committee, because before we had an ad hoc committee. And that ad hoc committee is kind of run down. We only had like two things left to talk about. We'll talk about that later. You say it's 11, I say it's 30. But I'm saying right now we need to get a new policy committee formed. So that we can start going after our policies, because right now all of our policies are on hold.
yeah, they're sitting in limbo.
We need the information that. We have.
Okay, but do we have a second?
I will second it, and the reason being is because I'm okay with forming the committee as a regular scheduled committee. And we will continue with step 2 and 3 at the next meeting. That's my reason, yeah, questions, comments, concerns.
Yeah, wasn't there something to the effect that this had to be?
No, a board can work as an action. We don't, doesn't everyone, not that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe I did and forgot about it, but I've been known to forget things before.
But yeah, we've done so much.
You could have information. What is the method for doing that committees? I thought, again, that was in the whole conversation about how committees had to take place or how committees had to be put in place. I think if you go back to the audio, we hear a requirement for resolution, who they built, they stated it, they would be like average.
Not to my memory.
Again, I just don't know that we have the information to act on this problem. We may make a motion to do something that we're not supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be a resolution. I don't know.
Well, the board is to act by policy. Our policies, we currently have about 30 policies that are out of date. And we keep pushing this off and pushing this off. I mean, if you want to come back next week for a special meeting on this same subject, I'm all for that. But I mean, this stuff's got to get covered. We can't keep pushing this off month at a time. This originally got brought up like what, November, December? It's now February.
So,
I think it was December.
yeah. So again, my idea on this would be if we take care of step 1, then we can proceed with other stuff for next board meeting. Do I have any other director comments, questions, and then public comment questions?
I agree with you full-heartedly. Move forward.
Okay, well, I'm gonna guess take it to a vote. We have no other comments.
Okay, do I have any public comment online? Seeing. Any in person? Seeing, all right, let's take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. So all those opposed say nay. Okay, so that's a 2-2, we let it ride.
So again, the policy committee does not happen.
Well.
That was the identified action. Was to get the information. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, the transcript of that is the guy that said the meeting, you have to be a public meeting. What triggered the whole thing about them. You said we can have this, and it doesn't have to be a public meeting, these standing committees didn't have to be in a public meeting, and he said, I thought they did. And your response is, well, I'll have to get clarification on that one from our district council because I was told something different. So I will get clarification on that. But we also have a board position when you go election. I think the selection of the board members, that person is so interesting, we should spread the word so that that's a recommendation. Kind of a couple of reasons that I think this is needed to have additional information and be postponed.
Okay, there, so we let that ride. Moving on.
That's a good question. I mean, it was an action. I presume it's a carryover action. That reason.
So what I will do on this is I will, okay,
Well,
so
here suggest is that's again agenda item talking about use of the attorney to come first, so we can make sure that we're following the policy.
Comment, the fact that we have to have a policy committee, so we can write the policy that says it takes 2 people to talk to the attorney.
Already had you that last time.
Yeah, we still have an old policy from 7 years ago.
Just still in the fact. And you did it.
okay, thank you guys. We're gonna go ahead, so with the attorney in regards to making sure that we have accurate information going forward on this. So Trent and I did speak with our district council, but I will reach out to Prism Council from Sierra. That did not cost us anything. So and I think the reason we didn't bring it up is all we were trying to do with the attorney was items that were already on his rate. So okay.
Yeah. I just was listening to it because I was afraid maybe.
Right. So
correct. It wasn't to include that in our UNI's.
Right. So yeah, so
but now we need to have 2 people, you and another person.
So and again, something that was recommended is that that be the board president and vice president for continuity for meetings. But then there are other things where there are places where Trent will have to jump in due to Brown Act. There are places where Bill will have to jump in due to Brown Act. That's what we're navigating.
And I think that it's more depending on what the subject matter is. We certainly need to make sure that someone who is more familiar with a particular topic or something should probably be that second person. We might have suggestion.
Okay, thank you. The next, so the answer was that that'll go to Prism, and can you help me with that, Bill, please?
Somebody just tell me if you want me or tell
Yes.
Trent if you want him.
Well, going by what the layout idea is the redundancy of chair, vice chair, whoever that is, and so chair and vice chair. But when there are other issues, that's when I definitely need Trent to step in.
From the ad hoc committee policy, I like this debate just because I think that gets us continuity in what we're doing and how we've been doing it and what we can convert over and make happen in the right perspective in the future. It's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. I will. Yeah, I will work with you guys, depending on the issue. It has to be either, if it's Brown Act, if Trent and I are working 2 by 2 and Bill and I are working something else, I will do that accordingly. So then 6, we are going
she's gonna get a hold of somebody so we can talk to the
Prism
attorney at some.
is through it's PRISM. They are a free legal organization and we have access through them, through CIRA, our insurer, California Environmental Risk Authority, to use that. So this is not a continuing thing with our specific attorney. It's something that more general can handle. Absolutely. Yes.
Paul. But
Yeah, and it definitely needs to get rewritten, because the main thing was to do with cost. If this attorney doesn't cost anything, maybe there's a lot less worry.
So thank you guys. We've done, the policy committee issue. We're gonna go on to 7.5. Again, Director Vanderkamp.
I actually can be. We talked about.
Okay,
It's an open action, we need to have addressed, and it needs to be done.
which item are you talking about?
Talking with this on this subject.
On how we form a committee.
Right, so you're talking on the policy committee. Okay, because she had already moved on to the different issue paper.
I know she was trying to, actually, that's why I kept saying, we need to close on this before we leave it, because the action still has to take place.
So talk about it after the,
Hang on, so. Right now, we were just discussing 7.4, issue paper policy committee. That was voted, it's done. I appreciate it, we're going to Prism for these other things to learn how to go get our committee process properly. 7.5, Director Vanderkamp.
okay. Next issue. We need to replace the current policy 1054 with separate policies for board clerk and administrative assistant. Because until we split the job duties, there's no way to hire a secondary person. I sent this to the command staff to have them look at it and see if they had any comments on it. I did not receive any information back to them. I've included with the issue paper in the board packet my marked up version of 1054A and 1054B. The areas in yellow, I think, are ones that still need to be some thought as to whether or not they need to be there at all. For example, like one of the ones says you have to have a Class C driver's license for a board clerk, which I don't understand, because the board clerk isn't going to actually drive a car. There's no reason they couldn't have a motorcycle license or ride up on their horse, for that matter. I mean, I don't see a requirement for the board clerk to have a Class C license. So, also, when the board packet was put together, things were arranged badly. So where page 31 is, you actually kind of need to jump ahead like page 42 in the board packet, because everything got rearranged badly.
That's how
Yeah,
the
because
application does it.
yeah, number 31 is a completely different page. So page 31 actually needs to get to like page 47. The stuff page 42 through 46 is what needs to get moved to page 41. So there really is a 1054A and a 1054B that are here for discussion. And because we don't have a policy committee, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we accept 1054A and 1054B as I've marked them up. And that, if we can get a second on that, then we can talk about it. Otherwise, we're done talking.
Okay, so your motion is that we accept it as you've written it.
Yep.
Let me make it last few questions on. You're referring to A and B, and I guess I'm missing.
You separated, so board clerk versus admin,
Okay.
because at
Like-
first it was 1054, just blank.
I think I found the packet. Board clerk, oh, okay.
1054A is the admin assistant. That's on the pages
Yeah.
prior to 31. Then you have to jump to page 42 because that all got shoved back in the packet quite a bit.
Yes, I've got, thank you.
So I made my motion. Can we get a second?
All right, so discussion. We're looking at,
Okay. I guess I have this question, but I have not got an answer, and I actually tried to research where the motion and vote was to do this actual separation and have a board vote position filled, an additional person added. I can't come up with the minutes that show that that vote was ever taken. I know you guys both said that it happened before Bill and I got on the board. Back several months, Sharon and I went back in minutes and looked for that motion, and I don't know what you guys have any idea.
Well, it'd have to be before we did the budget, because I put in the budget for a secondary position. Clear back when the budget was designed, so it would probably have to be like March, April, May of last year.
so,
I'm finding something from last year. Again, I just don't know that was ever voted on, and there's minutes showing that that was the case, but. And then the other question I have is if we're wanting to do this, even if we went ahead and did this, we separate the policy now. We talked to Carter about it, we decided that this may be an item that has some other option. Now we've got a policy for two different activities. I'm not sure. Just making sure that happens in the proper time and perspective, I think, is the question.
okay, so, my recommendation would have been that this goes to the policy committee, and. Right, so, that the idea behind this would have it separated so that, we could in fact. Hire, but then again, also LAFCO had asked us to pause on the process, so for that purpose. Because we don't have a policy committee to address it, and,
We say that ad hoc committee stand. Having a vote, that's not a board decision at this point.
The ad hoc committee was assigned a couple of different policies, and we'll see what they are when we get down here, because you and I have two different agreements as to what those numbers are. But neither one of them talks about 1054 that I'm aware of.
It's a good question. It's gonna be on my list. If you see it on the list already, and we did say that we would, or if it's not, my thought is it could be, we could tonight suggest that we could add it. And so if there's action you want to take before the other part of this process takes place, possibly, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but again, hopefully try to move things forward.
so, my thought, I guess, again, is we're at this point, we don't have a policy committee to adopt it, we don't have, we're not hiring at the moment because, we are holding off on this. Discussion with Garden Valley and Georgetown and whatnot, so, I think, yeah, I'm sorry, you guys, I think we should probably,
Also have a person online that has a comment.
yes, concerned citizen. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I was looking at your administrative assistant portion, and I wanted to ask you guys to clarify what respond to wide variety of support requests of 5 elected public officials, fire chief, and committee members means. Does that mean that they have to go pick up your dry cleaning, etc., so on and so forth? It seems a little vague. And then additionally, I know that you guys were kind of gunning for a board clerk, but have you entertained the idea of a clerk of the board? I mean, I don't know if you're going to table this item also or what, but maybe that would be something that would fit your needs better instead of a board clerk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have another hand up online? Is that,
I just see that's just the one.
okay, any other questions, comments? Okay.
But I had several comments on what's being presented, but if we're not, these are probably comments that ought to be taking place inside the policy committee.
Yeah, so,
Well, like you said. Send release, see if we can get it to stick.
oh,
Okay, so I mean, one of the comments you brought up is that we add this to the ad hoc. Because we added one to them last month. And that's something the board could do, is add it to the ad hoc committee that's currently dealing with 2 policies. And this would make it 3 or 4. So that's a possibility. Did you want to make a motion to that effect? Yeah, but doesn't stop us from making another one.
yeah,
She's before.
We'll cancel this one and go on to the next. Yeah, we would.
yeah.
So if we go for a rewording of the motion, is we punt 1054A and 1054B to the ad hoc policy committee that currently does exist, which is Trent and I. And we assign this as an additional task for them to look at and bring it back to the next board meeting. So we can decide whether we need to take a vote on it or push it off to maybe the actual policy committee that might get formed next week. So I'll make a motion that we punt it to the ad hoc committee.
So that was your.
That's my rephrase in the motion.
Second, the previous motion. Any other?
Any new comments?
Okay, let's go ahead and take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Hearing none. Oh, and no extensions. Okay. Moving on.
Wish to add.
That's not- Darn it. It's right here in front of me. Okay. So that takes care of. So 7.6 was one that we were gonna move up to have command staff here. They're not. Is it all right that we go on to 7.7? Issue paper cleanup of old policies. Director Bunicom.
So it's on page like what, 42 or something?
49. Oh, yeah, let's start on
So we skipped over 47.
47.
Okay, so we are doing 47?
We're doing which item?
Well,
7.7, issue paper cleanup of old policy 2-02 policies from 2020. That one is
yeah, but
number 49.
Char changed the verbiage on this and we, Brett and I both have similar policies.
They are. Go ahead.
So I guess we're skipping over page 47 and going to page 49? I don't know.
It'll be this.
Okay, but I still got page 47 I gotta deal with at some point.
Okay.
Okay, so the 7.7. 7.7,
Yeah.
cleanup of old policy 2-02 policies from, this is not lined up. Okay, who's doing this one?
Okay, I'm doing this one, but we need to have command staff present.
For 7.7,
For the cleanup of old policies in 2020,
gotcha. So-
because these were all,
right. Can we do
Operational
7.8?
My impression, maybe got feedback.
no, I had not heard from them.
So,
I was trying to get feedback from them and they never called me back.
so we're on 7.8. Or you still need to hold off.
Which one's that?
Oh, that's the two of you. So we're holding off 7.7.7.8. So then 7.9, policy 1-04.
Let me ask you a quick. They could still pull these as procedure and put them in the system as procedure.
Yes, that was my argument last time, is they could move them all to procedures.
Which they basic operation procedures, not policies.
I think we can punt it,
Yeah, it's say not policy.
we
do
can
that.
punt it to the end of the meeting, because they should be back in
Should be.
about a half hour anyway.
Okay, so that takes us to 7.9.
And we have another comment. I don't know what she's commenting on.
Concerned citizen.
I think you guys should really read Robert's Rule of Order. I am waiting to comment on 7.9. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, so, sorry, we do, obviously use a modified.
no, we don't. We do not do Robert's Rules of Order. We operate by the policy that's written in our policy manuals. So people keep saying, well, you should do this, you should, that's not the policies that we operate under. And
Well, you're either required to adopt Robert Rule of Order or Rosenberg's Rules of Order. So, sir, you have to have some sort of order for the decorum in this meeting. And this is absolutely ridiculous because the chairwoman keeps trying to speak and she is being interrupted. Thank you.
can you please state the rule that says we have to do that?
Okay. Thank you, concerned citizen. We appreciate your comments, and we will look into Rosenberg's or Robert's rules. All right, so looking at issue item 7.9, policy 1-04, use of an attorney. Director Williams.
7.4, correct? That's what you said.
7.9, policy 1-04.
7.9. Okay. All right. Policy 1-04, use of attorney. MFPD policy 104, use of attorney clearly states that several specific must be met. Legal counsel use. Namely, any board member requesting legal counsel shall do so by requesting that an agenda item be included in a properly scheduled meeting of the board of directors. So any time that there's a request for use of this attorney, we have to have that as an agenda item on the next meeting. An individual board member or the chief shall not contact the district's legal counsel by telephone, in person, or on their own accord. A request for legal counsel must be deemed necessary by a majority vote of the board of directors. Generally, the board shall communicate with counsel in writing. If personal contact with counsel is deemed by the board to be necessary, the board president, along with one shall represent the district during the contact. If an issue in question is time sensitive, the board president, with the concurrence of one other board member, offline, basically, is what that would suggest, may initiate preliminary contact with legal counsel. If the time sensitive provision is invoked, the board president shall, as soon as practical, be no later than 4 days after the contact, inform all board members of the nature of the contact. So the recommendation here is to ensure all of us board members are familiar with this policy and in accordance with policy 103, confirm they have read it. Policy 103 states that everybody who's a member of the district, which includes both employees and volunteers, is required to acknowledge that they have read this policy. So with that, I definitely would.
What action are you looking for?
Board members today to say we acknowledge that, and I would also suggest we document that as the policy dictates the policy of the policy manual.
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with saying that this is what our policy currently dictates. But that doesn't mean that there isn't need for it to be looked over. I'm not sure that any of this, but yeah, I'm okay with saying, yes, I read it, yes, I see it, and absolutely. So, do you acknowledge?
Okay, my comment. This policy was last updated in 2016. It was last reviewed in 2019. It needs to be reviewed and modified I suggested as one of the first items that the policy committee works on, so we can get this stuff straightened out. I think it's important to understand the history. The history of this policy was to stop a chief who was currently on back in the 2016 range of having almost daily conversations with legal about subjects without knowledge of the board. This policy was put in place in an attempt to control a rising legal bill. It definitely needs work. The intent was to control cost. Telephone conversations with pre-written list of questions to which answers are being sought is not a bad thing. Calls without a list of questions is to be avoided so it doesn't become a paid social interaction. That's my comment is it needs work. I think that requiring things to be sent by a snail mail may be inappropriate for this day and age. And I really think this is one of the things that needs to get worked on as soon as we finally get a policy committee operation.
Disagree. Possibly. But again, this is our policy in place today. My motion is that we all acknowledge this policy that is in place and exists and make sure we're in accordance with it.
I don't think we need to make them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did, you did, for you, and to you.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Okay, and I do have a hand up online, concerned citizen.
Thank you. I think you're the chairperson.
Yes, sorry, hi, concerned
Okay.
citizen.
Hi. Thank you, Chairwoman.
I'm Linnea, by the way.
So I wanted to say what I've seen work at other fire districts is they usually have a legal committee where it exists of the chairperson and another member of the board. And what I've seen them do in these committees is that they take their questions to, legal counsel, and then they have somebody in there taking notes or like I've seen transcripts done just so you guys have a record of what has gone on in these meetings with legal counsel. I think it would be good for something like that to be written into the policy, and a legal committee possibly be entertained as well. Thank you.
Thank you, concerned citizen, for the comfort of the community in general. Anytime there is communication with the attorney, it gets summarized by the attorney and shared with my board. So just full transparency there. It is completely recapped in an email from the attorney.
In last meeting, there were two comments that we had, you had contacted legal counsel. None of that was documented and provided to the other board.
So, okay, well, anything that has been summarized, recapped, and has gone out to the board, so I'll have to double check on that, but that was never done by intention or right, so yeah, I will have to double check, but I firmly believe that it was shared, so. They do recap, he is very insistent on it and does make sure that that happens.
Okay.
Each time.
Well, you meeting? Do. Okay. You specifically said, I've talked with legal about the agenda for preparation. I don't have any documentation about any kind of console with the attorney about legal, about cabinet agenda preparation. Am I missing something?
I'm gonna have to look back at it and see if there's something that didn't, I truly believe communications have all been sent, but like I said, I will have to look back and get back to you.
Yes. Like the policy processing.
Right.
I don't remember anything being provided to us about that.
Again, I believe the email was sent, but I will have to double check.
This is on
get that information.
Okay.
I thought maybe just hearing that.
And I will have to look back at things and let you know. Okay, I'll have to look back at things and let you know. Okay, so with that, the next would be 7.10 MFPD Board Officer Authority, Trent Williams.
This is not.
It sounds like it's working.
Yeah, they're. Okay, the only difference is, the way that online is hearing it is through that speaker, so all of these, if the speaker is making sound, if you don't hear the speaker making sound, let me know, guys, and we'll go to a different mic. Okay, sorry about that, guys, thank you. So back to that, we are at 7.10 trends.
Officer. Recent unilateral actions taken by board officers are inconsistent with district policy and exceed the authority permitted under the Brown Act and the Fire Protection District Law. Again, seven. District policy 1200. District court defines the limit of authority delegated to the board president. All other actions must be taken by the board as a collective body during properly meeting. So, under that policy, the board president is authorized to preside over all meetings, ensure that an appropriate agenda is established and published, sign documents on behalf of the board and district as required, serve as the primary interface between the board and the fire chief, and participate in board deliberations and vote with the same rights as board director. The president's role as the interface with the chief tended to be a communication conduit, not a source of independent. Communications must relate only to board approved activities and remain transparent to the full board. All other district actions must be taken by the board as a whole through motions, routine decisions, resolutions, formal actions, policy adoption, budget, ordinances, regulatory actions such as fire code adoption or direction to staff, finding only when issued by the board collectively, not on an individual basis. Limitations on individual directors. Individual directors, including board officers, may not direct staff or fire, make operational decisions, commit district funds or resources, represent or speak for the district without board authorization, take action outside a properly noticed public meeting, create serial meetings through email, text, or sequential conversations. So, issue requiring board attention. Unilateral action was taken to remove a board member's administrative authority within the district's flexible policy management system. This action contradicts District Policy 1200, the Brown Act, which addresses collective decision-making requirement. Prior board action in December meeting, motion was establishing an ad hoc committee to review software administration roles and return with a recommendation was made. In addition, on the December 12th meeting, there was a 7.7 policy manual accessibility. A motion was made by myself to maintain current practice until a change in procedures. It was seconded by Director Blaine, ayes Directors Williams, Blaine, Rosser, and Bierkamp, noes were Director of. So that's a specific action that directed that process be taken. So, because the board has already established a lawful process for addressing software administration authority, unilateral changes circumvent that process. My understanding is that the board president made a direct communication to the acting chief, directing him to remove the policy, flexible policy administration. Recommendation: refer to the unilateral flexible administration change. Restore the previously authorized board members' flexible administrative access until the ad hoc committee presents its recommendation and the board takes formal action. Item 2, reinforce the board direction protocols. Reaffirm that the board may direct the fire chief or staff only as a collective body.
board members should refrain from private meetings with the chief or staff that could be perceived as direction, influence, or operational involvement. Like I said, I don't know what the,
You done?
I wish we had,
When you are.
I wish we had information on that was being suggested as being brought to us that would clarify what the process moving forward needs to be. But I have made contact with Signal, get that information and asked for clarification. There is a considerable controversy, in my opinion, as to what the proper process is. I think a lot of what was defined is good, but I think there's still some question as to what their concerns were and how they can be addressed. So I think the board made the decision. It was voted on, it was approved, it needs to be maintained until this board changes that. So my motion is to do just what I said, get this. I don't know that it actually needs to be a motion. It's a violation process that needs to be restored to what the situation.
Okay, so we cannot restore it to what the situation was because there was somebody who was given maintained access beyond being able to. The person is no longer with our district, and if board members are suggested to only have read-only access, community or committee members should only have read-only access. I did not make this decision unilaterally. It was discussed with the California Intergovernmental Risk Authority, and this is best practices as to how our district should be operationally dealt with. So while our board does create policy, our board does not then determine how it gets input into a system by our staff, because that is part of their job. So I do want to share. So I did receive the communique from Eric Young of Sierra. He said Trent reached out to me directly and I was on vacation last week. I just followed up and sent him a response below. And I would ask Trent that please CC your board president on both agenda items and on communications. He says, apologies for the delayed response. I was on vacation. While there are no rules, laws against allowing the board to have administrative access to Lexipol, it would be similar to a board or city council having admin access to a municipal code. In the case of city council, typically only the clerk, city clerk, and city manager have administrative access to make changes, as this is part of their job duties. In the case of fire district, the fire chief and deputy fire chief of operations would be similar roles. In all cases, any would have read-only access. As we work with several fire districts, I did check with many of them, including Colorado Hills Fire and Central Fire District of Santa Cruz County, to see if they allow admin access to board members. None of the fire district contacted allow admin access outside of the fire admin staff. In the case of Colorado Hills Fire, the chief indicated they had a similar committee in the past and only allowed read-only access, and all changes were completed by fire staff. I understand that you're keeping in draft status, which is better, but also presents Brown Act concerns if more than 2 board members have access to the draft document outside of a board meeting. Essentially, by having multiple board members have access and able to see notes outside of a formal meeting, it can be considered an illegal meeting. I know that the fire department is small with limited staff, so the intention is to help move things along. While the intentions are good, having administrative access also blurs the line between the board's role as policy-making body and the chief's role in administration. One additional note, I served as a board member on several school boards, EDU, HSD, RUSD, and El Dorado County Board of Education, in which we had similar service to Lexipol for school districts. We regularly reviewed policies and all board members had read-only access. Any changes and drafts were developed by the administrative staff. Again, there's no legal basis that prevents access, but as a best practice, board members should only have. Thank you.
You gotta keep in mind, we can't follow necessarily all best practice because we can't afford it. The fact that we think we can have the staff prepare documentation and make all these policy changes and put flexible.
I can't hear his audio.
Well, you can fix it. Does that help?
I don't know. You're not talking for me to hear.
Can you hear me now?
It's kind of mumbly. I think you need to slow down and articulate. There's echo in the room.
Okay. We will do.
Yeah, if he,
Okay, can you, yeah, I need a mic, please. One way or another, what,
Let me,
okay, sorry.
I'm sorry he cannot hear. I will speak more slowly. Are you able to hear now?
Yes, that's better when you articulate.
Okay. Well, as I said, there's nothing illegal and we do have concerns from a cost perspective and ability, resource wise, to get these things to happen. Again, the reason that I wanted one of the agenda items to be brought up is what we have on our, even on our list for ad hoc committee is large. There is there in my, there's absolutely no way this staff is going to be able to put the time and the effort to do it, and we will not be able to afford the time and the effort to do these things. I, in response to your information, which read, which I got, I responded with the fact that there is from Lexipol.
I did not get your response, actually. You didn't CC me, so.
Hmm.
I only got what he sent me. I did not get your response.
Yeah,
Because you did not CC me, yeah.
yeah. So the point is that there is a methodology from Lexipol that might be able to accommodate one of its concerns, but also, as I pointed out, I think we do require that it does make sense that we require that only one board member be in that position, make those inputs. But that allows us to make those changes in a draft. I think is another best practice activity.
He also said that it wasn't because that file ends us up with brown act issues.
Yeah, more than one person. If only one person on the board is able to read it, that's not a problem. So if that person has the ability to put those in as a draft, then they're already ready to be processed quickly when the board, and it's a much more efficient process. I'm going to tell you this. In my opinion, it's not going to happen as a staff we have and the money we have available to do this in that fashion. We don't have the clerical staff, we don't have the administrative staff to take care of these things because we can't afford it.
okay. And
A policy.
so I'm gonna go ahead and comment on this. First off, I think that your tirade here is a direct attack on the board president and it borders on actionable. My comments are as follows. Duties are to send issue papers to the president and the clerk. As a board member, you're supposed to send the issue paper to the president to include in the board packet, since it's the president who puts together the board packet. Did you send your issue paper to the board president? Do you have an answer, Trent?
What policy are you suggesting that's?
1212.1, as you talked about before, it says that the issue papers are to be sent to the board clerk and board president so the board president can put together the agenda. I'm asking if you sent your issue papers only to the clerk or if you sent them to the board president.
I sent them to the clerk.
So then my question would be, why did you not CC me when the agenda is the board president's responsibility?
You were also the agenda, the clerk staff. You're responsible for having the information for her.
Everybody, okay.
You have the policy vote.
Full disclosure, everybody else does that apart from you.
Okay,
So you've done it before too. Seeing it differently this month. This month is the only month I've seen it differently.
I have another full page of stuff. Okay. Can I finish my page?
Yeah.
I did suggest that. I suggested that it bordered on, not that it exceeded that level.
Trent, you were able to give your opinion, your perspective. I'm gonna let Bill give his opinion, his perspective, and we will move forward.
So I will. I'm not gonna.
I would ask everybody in this room, please, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, regarding recommendation, this unilateral action to take and remove a board member's administrative authority within Lexipol was not done by the board president. It was done by staff. My understanding is that most, if not all of your access to Lexipol was reinstated. Secondly, that access was never given by the board in the first place. A prior board president took those admin privileges for himself when Lexipol was first contracted. The prior board president did not give up those rights when he left the board. He instead kept them and shared some of them with you, not even all of them. And he shared none with staff. Staff, in order, had to make contact with the company in order to receive the access, and in the process, staff changed who had admin access. The ad hoc committee to look at software administration was myself and you. Due to me being sick, we have not yet met, and to my knowledge, no changes have occurred to software administration or authority. No unilateral changes have occurred. Not since the committee was formed. Recommendation number 2. You, as the only board member who does not have operational involvement, should not tell command staff who and when they can speak with members working for the department. Those members who are both volunteers with the department and board members know their jobs and their limits on them. When sitting at the table as we are now, with the full board, then and only then do we take board action. The rest of the time, we're working, supporting, and helping, either with water supply, road control, or as medical staff. Okay, almost. Yeah, I'm done with it.
Was no contact or no suggestion from the president to change the administrator. But I'll have to ask Chief Bravo if he would agree that he made that statement to me when I called him and asked him, did he know that my administrator right had been removed? He said, yes. I said, okay. He said, you need to talk to Lene because she's the one that told me to remove. I don't know if that's accurate. I'm just saying that's what you did describe to me. Is that accurate or not?
I'm sorry, can you stop mumbling, please, and please speak up and enunciate? Thank you.
Okay, so.
Thank you. It is 9:05. We still have other items to go through. We have our command staff back. So do we have a motion on this item?
Yeah, I made a motion.
Did we get a second? Right.
I think what is inappropriate is for you to have taken action that is in contradiction to what the board had agreed and voted and made a motion and a vote on December 18th meeting.
December 18th meeting, they decided to put together an ad hoc committee to review software access. That consists of you and me,
right.
And we have not met.
Okay, that was one. But
Okay, you're talking about to maintain things.
So great.
Right. And if you look at the paper that I gave you earlier, it's right here a minute ago, it clearly states in there that one of my objections to the meetings from the minutes from December 18th was that while the board decided to maintain, they didn't say what. They didn't say whether they were going to maintain it on the website, maintain it in the office.
You don't have to say that they had to say it. Issue paper. You pull it up something. Okay. I had an issue paper that dictated exactly what that meant. If you read that issue paper, you know exactly what it said, maintain the correct process, because that is when the administrative activities got restored.
But my whole thing is the minutes do not say what's being maintained. Well, we do. It's what's in there.
I'd like to get a motion, please. Please.
I'll make a motion that we follow exactly the issue item that I last time they got voted on, and I just don't know why there is a reason to have
We already have the answer to the question that's in here. Restore what was old to be restored by the policy of manual item issue 7.7, December 18th meeting. Follow through with that action. That is voted on.
What action? That's what I'm saying. What do you want restored?
Okay, we are going around in circles. I am going to make a motion that, so this one is. I don't have a motion.
He hasn't,
He's saying there's no.
he's saying to do a motion to do what we did.
Okay, so your motion is that we do what we said.
Well, let me pull up my motion that is accurate to what his concern is. He keeps bringing up one that's no definition of what we're talking about here. Yeah. It's lengthy. Okay. Policy manual accessibility. At the November 20th board meeting, the board of directors determined that until a change to the process for providing access to the MFPD policy manual via the MFPD website is voted upon.
Can I stop you and just ask you what you want?
Website, that's a completely different item. That's not lexical access. That's whether we're putting it on the website or not.
Okay.
So are you asking about lexical access or are you asking about whether we're putting it on the website? Okay.
Maintain that has not been changed by this board to continue with having administrative capability and that could be changed later to something less than that, which is still valid, but it allows for the process to take place correctly. So administrative capability for one individual on the board ad hoc committee so we can process stuff properly.
Okay, so then, I have a question. You had cited that as the reason it was that was what we voted on to maintain access. So that is to the website, has nothing to do with lexical. So if that is your motion, do I have a second? Okay, so conversation. Any questions, concerns?
And were we talking lexical or are we talking the?
He's talking lexible, but no decision was made on lexible despite being alluded to.
Yeah. Yeah. I ad hoc committee established, which was Bill, myself, and Chief Bravo. Chief Bravo was asked to be the lead for that ad hoc committee to address what administrative rights needed to be dealt with. And that has not been concluded, so that actually never had not been concluded, which was to address exactly this issue.
Okay.
It was under the software of the software change.
Okay, public comment? Hearing none, I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
It's a 2-2 vote, let it ride. Next item, 7.11. Oh, sorry. I apologize. We have command staff back. Yes. Oh, sorry. 2-2 means that it is staying how things are right now. It's
No decision made.
no decision made. Yeah, so sorry, that's my terminology. Let it ride. Yeah. But anyway, so I apologize. Bad terminology. We now have command staff back. I wanted to be respectful of their time, so we will go back to 7.12.
Which is?
Amendment to districts. Amendment to policy 1108, use of district facilities and grounds. And I don't know who was assigned to that one. But
Been there in two places. I think Trent's got one of those and command staff's on the other.
We had pulled 7.12 up.
Because there's one on page 55, there's one on page. On page 56. Page 55 is a legal readout by Trent.
This.
Can you hear
This
this?
right here. Okay, so this is, the agenda item title amendment. Amendment to policy 1108, use of district facilities and grounds, clarification of gambling related activities. Author was coming from the AC. So do I read it all?
That one on page 56 that has the blue link on it, yes?
Yes.
You have to read the whole thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
the blue, yeah. So do I read the whole thing?
Right?
Yes. Okay, so,
I have
All-
comments.
okay, we'll open this up to comment, hopefully. I will make a motion to, adopt this amendment into policy 1108. Do I have a second? Anybody?
I'll second it for purposes of discussion.
Okay.
Um,
All right, so that opens us up to discussion.
okay. Discussion. My problem is that this. In the past, we've always had policy that we then either add things to or subtract things from. This doesn't do either of those things. It's just a whole new rewrite of what may or may not already be in the policy. While the idea to say no to gambling is good, I think that the whole thing needs to get back and get rewritten in our standard format so we know what we're approving or not approving. In comment.
So wouldn't that be these, the recommendation is to add these to the existing policy, is that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's my whole
so,
problem.
it says recommended policy, recommended policy language, add to 1108.3 request of use. So, the recommendation is 1108.3 B, 1108.3 D1, and 1108.3 D2.
1108.
Yes, go ahead.
So this may be taken the same action due to the other policy. So that's stricken. It's been presented to the policy committee.
We don't have
If I may.
policy,
This wasn't part of the ad hoc, nor was it part of,
right?
an established policy committee that we had. This was brought to our attention. As intention and clarification, which is what we provided to the board for further consideration. The recommendation, the fiscal impact is none. What we're trying to do with this is just make sure that the fundraising activities don't cause fundraising activities for us in terms of anything. Keeps everything in line and hopefully keeps the board from having to adjudicate over appeals because it'll be clearly stated moving forward.
I think that request is still one that is changed to the policy, which should be presented to the policy committee.
We don't have, so if we had a policy committee, that's a process, yeah, but I mean, there's no reason that it can't be brought to a vote today.
So,
Because that one hasn't even been, I mean, the job description one, hang on. Here,
say I gotta add pages to the policy, like
so
this one.
this one has definitive verbiage.
So she's saying because there's only 2 or 3 changes as opposed to the 30+ changes that were in the policy I brought forward earlier, that this can be worked on. Is that, am I correct in understanding that?
So it depends on the size.
If we have a policy committee, that would be wonderful. Our board voted tonight to not establish a policy committee, so.
Just say that you can't have different ways of doing it. You can't say, in this case, we have to do this way, and in this case, we do it different.
Actually, we can do it multiple ways, because we're a board, we can do what we want.
And so, the other one is a matter of literally taking our current policy and separating it into two. This is adding clarifications to a current policy, not changing verbiage, adding clarifications. It's not the entire something that will become, instead of 1054 A and B, two different policies.
A policy, so like, does this help clarify the situation? I read it all, I think it says is that we don't want to do things illegally. I don't think there's any reason to have it. It says you do things illegally. Yeah, it's a law.
If I may, I think the need for this policy far outweighs. I think that there's many organizations within our community that need clarification themselves and how they're going to conduct fundraisers in the future. This isn't something that I would take. We need to make it clear that anything inside this fire station, you know, if you don't insulated for you while doing, not that I'm accusing you or saying it will happen, but it could happen. Your job is to protect the district, firefighters, and the community. So, by hunting this back to the committee that is not existent, not part of the outline, I feel that community support organizations, leaving them in limbo longer and not allowing them to have their direction moving forward. And it's just going to cause, you know, further destruction and divide on the divide.
Okay. Well, I agree with Bill about what he was suggesting, and I also think, you know, this is not the way we have processed these type of things. This should have been put in the lexical, as it perhaps it should have been showing the whole document, what pages occur in what sections, what sections get eliminated, what sections get put in. The process is been in practice for quite some time, and it just doesn't happen the way this is being done.
Yeah, point of clarification. There is nothing being deleted or changed. There's an addition, 11 delta values, 0.3 delta, 0.3 delta 1, 0. Delta. It is clearly stated. We owe authority. We owe authority. Having a severe delineation of what's allowed and not allowed inside. Further kicking the can down the road puts our community groups, DAG and MFPD, at a disadvantage to doing fundraisers that are supposed to be assisting the district.
Okay, but again, I think it's incorrect to say that this is a concept of the policy. If you look at that, well, you don't go 1108.3 D parentheses 2. Sorry, I mean it's picky, but that's the case.
There's been a lot of issues with numbering print, so I wouldn't bring that up as your.
This is something you want. That's not the reason to argue. The reason to argue for this is what is the correct process. We've already defined the correct process. You guys specifically have argued about this at the last meeting, that the process for policy needed to be done. Like you had all this consultation, but you didn't bring any written documentation to support it that said that it has to be a certain way. Getting that certain way that you described this, just exactly what you're doing here. I don't understand that. You're the one.
Can you lower the temperature of the tone, please? It's coming off really rough. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't hear that. I saw something, but it didn't come through.
Thank you.
Ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay, so as I'm understanding it, he wants, the chief at this point would like us to add 3 sections 1108.3D, 1108.3D subsection 1, 1108.3 subsection D subsection 2. Whoever's talking outside is talking pretty loudly, but okay. Could we possibly add these sections by vote of the board? I think we could. I think that regardless of whether we add them or don't add them, we need to bring it back to the next board meeting in proper format so that there's no question as to what was done. But if the chief is asking us to add these 3 items, I think we could take individual votes on the 3 items that they'd be added. They'll have to be inserted into the proper policy format and brought back to the next board meeting. That's my thought process on this. I would like to make a motion that we take individual votes on these 3 additions and then ask the ad hoc committee, because that's the only committee we got that's currently functional, to put it into the proper format and brought back to the board for next month's board meeting. That's the end of my motion.
Okay, so your motion was so we have a motion on the floor of.
Take a vote on each one of these 3.
But we had a prior motion.
Oh, I did not realize, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay,
What was the
that's
prior
fine,
motion?
that I and you had seconded as to get to a conversation, which is fine, so, I will.
May I make a comment? Because
Yeah.
if we do proceed with this, there's a couple of questions that I have.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I guess one of my questions is this policy changed stating any requirements not already prohibited by law?
Where are you reading from? I'm not understanding the question.
Asking. Is this policy change stating any requirement not already prohibited by law?
Consult California Penal Code.
Okay. Do you think it is?
I'm not owner.
Okay. Is charity bingo prohibited by putting this policy change in place?
The policy change is to protect the community, the firefighters of this district from any wrongdoing, intentional or unintentional moving forward. I don't have to tell you what our budget looks like. I have to tell you what the pendency looks like. We are under the microscope as it is. We have multiple crews willing to have this right now with Lab, the county, and everybody else. I realize that this is a center, but it's not a center. This is a fire station. The day you put paid firefighters inside this fire station, it ceased to be all. It became fire station. And we need to think about it being a fire station first. And we need career education to the members of our community, through fundraisers, to know what they can and cannot do. But I'm not going to give you interpretation of the law or I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. Further, in respect to the respectful request to provide information on one of the other agenda items, which was the readout for this particular policy, and get that counsel. You guys on the board have received that in writing. You hopefully read the fact that in that the attorney suggested that our policy was adequate and was in place properly for this facility use. That charity bingo, the item that could be accommodated, had in his opinion, was low impact, would have no legal impact on the district, even if the organization didn't follow regulations or didn't have permit properly. So my suggestion is that your statement kind of contradicts that, what the pretty provided council.
So we're going back to page 55.
So, but also, there was more discussion than that, it was stated that if this is something that is a concern, that put it into policy. So here it is, they are trying to put it into policy so that there is clarification. Yes. He said, if there's any concerns about, we don't have an appeal process, we don't have any of those things, he said, then you can put it into policy.
No, he didn't say that. Okay.
That's,
We don't have an appeal process. I don't know what you're talking
but
about.
he did say, if you wanted to, he said, if you I will rescind my statement is that the attorney said, if you want it done differently, put it into policy. That does not go against your readout at all. This is the recommended policy because we're, like our chief said, our organizations need clarification. So,
Okay.
okay.
You want to change? That's okay. Make the statement that we don't have a policy that has an appeal process. It's so right. A is exactly the question I asked the attorney, which his response is, yes, you have a proper policy for doing that.
Really, what number? Oh, we
Okay,
have grievance.
so-
And let me put this agenda item in front of this. We could have had that information. Now, if you'd like me to.
Okay, we still have,
Don't we have a hand? It's going to tell us we're doing things wrong again.
so I'm sorry, concerned citizen, I will get to you. I see your hand up. Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry for the pauses. I'm trying to think about the way. So we made a motion, we got a second, we went to discussion. Then another motion for these.
Well, do we need to take a vote on the transaction first? We can make more motions. We still have people we want to
Wait,
talk.
so hang on, but so my motion was that we accept policy. It was seconded so that we could discuss. Discussion is happening, and then you would come up with wanting to do the three separately and then take it for. We call it formatting. And then our command staff came back again saying that it is important to provide clarification to our, so we have a motion on the table. We have discussion going on. So I can take the hand. And then.
Are you any discussion?
No, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, so on that motion. And second, we are going, so we have concerned citizen, we have more that you wanted to say. Okay. I'm just trying to get my head straight because I thought a second motion had come to the table and I'm not sure where we're at.
Who's going?
Okay,
Concerned
so-
citizen or?
Go ahead, concerned citizen.
Public comment now, just important.
Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
We were waiting.
Thanks. Or the second, 1108.3B, that's the section bill. Does the MFPD Board of Directors have the authority to review an appeal of a denied request? School party at notice public meeting and makes a decision on the facility use.
This one works?
His paralegal response. Or provide the specifics of his information is. His verified response was yes, a property presented appeal could be considered by the MFPD board in open session and the final decision made by the policy that we have in place.
I have no problem with the fact that we're allowed to do the appeal. My comment was that we have no process for the proper way to do that appeal. And that's the same item I brought forward last time this was being discussed. I even tried to give you what I thought was probably the best answer for how to do the appeal and was told to sit down and forget about it. So
I
have
apologize for interjecting, but I'm not sure if you guys said I could speak yet. It was kind of breaking up on your guys' end.
Yeah, concerned citizen, I appreciate that. We're still on the comments I will get to here shortly about that's gonna be added.
Was that a yes or a no?
Because the master is the telephone. We'd have to go to the telephone to mute them and unmute.
So
I think you just lost the video feed.
okay,
Your guys' reception, it keeps breaking up, so that's why there's a little bit of confusion here because I'm not sure if you said I could speak yet or not. So I'm like, I don't want to miss my turn.
Okay, we asked people, please hold on. We're trying to figure out how to restate the video connection. At this point, the phone that was processing the video connection has died.
so we still have Zoom capability via audio, I guess, at this point for the sake of being able to continue. Let's go ahead and move forward with that.
So. And he suggested that the process was to have the organization in an open meeting and that the board then takes a motion and a vote on that.
Yes.
Period.
Yes, so in the future, if they make a facility use request and do not like the response, they could appeal under your policy. You could consider their appeal in open session, make a decision. I'm sorry, you had a question.
I've heard that. And now. Motion made 30 seconds.
And I got told that that motion was not good because the first motion was still going on. So it still stands as a motion to approve and a second, and we have not taken a vote. And there's still lots of people who want to make comments.
Yes, clarification, yep.
Oh.
Thank you, sir. Okay,
And confirming.
we're on 7 point. Yeah, like he said. So. Yeah. Okay, so we are in a discussion. Directors, did you have any more discussion regarding this item?
I guess. Nice. Two questions. Cherry bingo being implemented by this.
So Trent, just as you stated, the attorney said if they don't like the chief's response, they could appeal to the board under your policy. You could consider the appeal in open session and make a decision. So for specific times, there is possibility to do that. And that was something that you and I talked to the attorney. So this puts it plainly, and if there is a specific event, we can appeal it, but it doesn't mean that the board, it's whatever the board's decision is. This would make it so that organizations aren't questioning and having to appeal, questioning. It's a platform, one out, and if.
I think if you just basically by policy that it's I think that's a different scenario, just having it be stated and that the chief makes the determination and it's the request. Because his point was is you don't do this by the fact that the general event activity should be appealed, but you need to do it as a part of the event and make sure that the activity is within that event, and then the chief has the opportunity to determine whether the event is going to be approved or not based on that. So I think you're modifying the whole process, and I'm afraid that you're not modifying the sections that have to do with the appeal. I think it basically stifles how somebody can make the appeal then, if they're not able to appeal.
They're struggling to hear you. BC Holmesky said it's difficult to hear and understand you.
Try this one.
Is it their connection? I don't know.
Try that, see if it works. I don't know.
So I just think that's what makes the whole thing, from my perspective, needing to go to a policy committee that can properly exercise this thing and place it properly. I just don't think we need to be doing it in this, what's the need? We don't have anybody making a request for an event for this. But why make the change now? Why rush the process? Why not make it follow the process that we say needs to be in place? That you, Bill, specifically brought to our attention last time that needs to be done. And I agree with it.
I have a comment. Bravo, you had a hand up? Oh. Oh, sorry, it's not even.
The
Sorry.
basis to Mr. Williams' question was. The reason this was brought forward was because the whole basis of the appeal was that in the facility use, bingo was denied. So we did bring forward a clarification document for you guys to consider. I'm scratching my head that we're actually having a spirited debate on keeping the district assets and budget safe from intentional or unintentional things that come from having bingo inside of a staffed fire station. I feel like this is coming from a more personal area because of the involvement that some of our board members may have with some of these communities. And I appreciate the passion, got to put the community, the fire district, and the students that we serve first. And I'm literally dumbfounded that you guys have spent 45 minutes discussing that.
Well, you're assuming that when the appeal is made, that our agreement or disagreement is already poured up. You don't know how my vote would be. I might vote to suggest that we don't have it because of that reason, exactly that reason. I'm just saying the policy currently addresses and deals with this whole thing adequately as it is. And it's just, if you're gonna make a change to it, you gotta follow through the method that has been requested to be put in place, to be doing it in a fashion that's proper and the process is done the way it needs to be done. I'm just encouraging us to do it.
Okay. Yeah. So
Get the.
David.
David, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Mary.
Sorry, Meredith Blaine, president of the district auxiliary. And I want to make it perfectly clear that the district auxiliary would never hold anything, any event or any activity that is illegal. So I just want to be perfectly clear that any request that we make, we're not trying to do something intentionally illegal. And when I read the agenda packet, I found it interesting because you would think that anything that's illegal would be prohibited, whatever it is. And that when you start identifying very specific things like this, you open up the floodgates, because it's almost as if you're saying that other illegal activities are fine. So again, I want to just clarify, we've done everything that we need to do in order to hold bingo, and you get to decide if you don't want to have those things happening, but we will not do anything illegal, and we also have liability insurance that would cover anything that we would hold here. And I respect your all opinion about types of activities, and we will make the proper requests in the proper timing, and you can deny them as you please. Thank you.
Still have somebody online.
Okay, hand up online, Johnny, that's to you.
Johnny Valenzuela here. So the only reason why the district auxiliary exists is because the district attempted to illegally hijack the Firefighters Association. Some of you that are fighting harder for bingo,
He's
more.
been quiet during hang on, Johnny, 1 second. Please, please, people, everybody deserves to be able to speak. I don't care whether we like, dislike, love, hate, whatever. We still need to give an opportunity to speak. He gets his 3 minutes. Thank you. Please
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm gonna start over then. The only
Go ahead.
reason why this district auxiliary exists is because this district attempted to illegally hijack the Firefighters Association. Some of you that are fighting harder for bingo than you fought for the firefighters to have their own organization.
Dax is not an agenda.
No, but he's allowed to make
Talking-
a James comment.
This is related to this topic.
He's talking.
So-
regarding the bingo.
I'm going to say it again. The only reason why this district auxiliary exists is because the district attempted to illegally hijack the Firefighters Association. Some of you that are fighting harder for bingo than you fought for the firefighters to have their own Firefighters Association. Shame on you.
Please, everybody,
Okay,
we all get 3 minutes. Okay, whether we like what they have to say or not, whether we love it, whether we hate it, they get their time. Yes, and we have given, as I said, we have given broad latitude throughout this program. This person is choosing to speak just as concerned citizen, just as any of you have been given the opportunity and the time to speak. Thank you.
Johnny, are you completed with your comment?
I'm okay for now, and I'll find more to say later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that.
Somebody else wanted to speak.
Yeah, so. Did we have another, we don't have another hand up online, do we have? Yep.
I'm sorry, I just have to agree with Trent. There's a specific item you're talking about with this policy. The inaccurate made by the last person hijacking is totally appropriate and inflammatory. So I would just ask it, stick with.
I've got the receipts, Kim Purcell.
Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and,
We got concerned citizen wishes to speak.
after concerned citizen, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Go ahead, concerned citizen. Please, sorry.
No worries. I did just want to remind whoever keeps interrupting that this is a public meeting and any member of the public has the right to speak and have their comment uninterrupted. And I recommend that anyone who has their comments interrupted reclaims their time. And it is completely inappropriate for you to be disruptive and you can be thrown out and the chair can throw you out of the meeting. So I think everybody here needs to be quiet, take your own turns, have your public comment, move on with it. Thank you.
Thank you, concerned citizen. Okay, that's, any other directors have anything to say before we go to a vote? Hearing none. To all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay, it needs to be properly formatted.
Okay, and then all of those who abstain? Approving, approving, so it, sorry, Kirk, your vote was abstain, so we have two, so it,
1, 2, 1.
yeah, so it goes to policy. Moving on.
No,
That wasn't the motion.
Yeah, you're voting.
we had a single motion because the one I started to make was said we couldn't vote on. We had to go
We had a
back to his
motion?
motion.
No, sorry. On this one, I made a motion, Bill seconded it. For the sake of discussion, we discussed. He started to make another motion, pulled it aside. Here we are, we discussed. The motion has failed, okay?
I would like to make a motion.
Please do.
I would like to make a motion that we send this matter to the, I guess at this point, the ad hoc committee, because it's the only policy committee we have. So that makes like 2 we've assigned to them today. So 1048 would need to go there for proper formatting to bring it back to the board. So it could be voted on. That's my motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so any discussion? All right, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. And I abstain, so 3,
301.
yeah. All right, so
Let me go find it.
we are moving on to. That was 7.12. We also missed 7.6. Issue paper, eliminate old 202, rewrite policy 1048, compensation and benefits.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh.
Okay, let me get a note. This is going to policy committee. Okay, I think it's on page 42. It starts on page 31 and then jumps. I remember that much. Okay, there's the policy. Where's the issue paper? Pretty much to make it simple, I'm saying we state officially that 2-02 is done and gone and let it be buried and never be brought forth again. That's the first half. And the second half is to change 1048 to reflect the pay rate that's currently being paid. So I guess we have to do it as two separate motions. So motion number 1 is to eliminate 2-02. Can I get a second on that?
You're using the word eliminate.
Mark it as dead, replaced, gone
Acknowledge that it's been replaced, right?
by this 1048. Do we need to do them in reverse order?
No, I'm just saying.
We could pass 1048 first.
So 748. That means if we are gonna approve this, then yeah, so we're gonna need to go to. 48.
So do 1048 first.
My agenda item, I was on in front of this, exactly, Bill, I think is describing. It's to just, you've included it in the presentation of the list that he provided before, which suggested that this was replaced with a newer version, not inflexible.
Actually, it wasn't. That's the problem. We never actually struck it in the past. And that's the reason why things have changed. So I think that we need to go forward with 1048 pass first, and then we get around to striking 202. So I'll change my motion that we approve the new 1048 with its changes, including the wage table that fixes things that are mandatory by minimum wage, and also lists the acting chief, assistant chief, and battalion chiefs with their current pay rate.
So what you're saying, you want to make a modification, this changes of this existing policy 1048, right?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, so we're gonna go to discussion, policy 1048. The new presentation.
Starts on page 31, goes on for about 8 or 10 pages.
So,
Because it goes, yeah, from 31 to 41.
31, so this is the one that has the wage table, right?
Yes.
Okay, and. Whatever gets put in here is gonna have to, or is gonna end up being, created into our salary survey. And, needs to be. So.
Please read.
There's the table, I'm not seeing it in my.
It's at the end, it's on page 41. And 40 and 41.
Yeah, because it all kind of show the same value and. Yeah, the 49.40.
So these are the rates here. And then these rates down here change also to match minimum wage requirements.
Okay,
and mid-level officer is struck.
so I don't, I mean, as we look at things, these are distinctly different positions. I don't think they should be the same rate.
This is the rate that they are currently being paid at under contract with an agreement they set up with Chief Dwyer. So what I'm doing is I'm making these page match the rate at which they're actually currently being paid.
Okay, thank you, question, yeah, over there.
This is the question that's to be answered out of closed session. Was there not?
So, we can,
I asked that question, and at that time I was told that there's not, other than a verbal contract.
so there was a hand down at the end as well in clarification for these three.
This is the board.
I know, okay, I'm trying to get clarification, yeah, go ahead, please. Continue.
So the point is that this, the process that was done was the fire chief, Chief Dwyer, pulled a previously replaced set of information. It's clearly replaced.
Not,
It's clearly replaced. It's been, it's actually been modified a couple of times even since that old policy existed, and the new one was put into lexical to replace it. So he inappropriately pulled information on a job description that says that it's specifically for sending people out on a strike team type arrangement under SSD. SSD is not what these people are, being sent out on. So him using that job range and that job description and that job pay was totally was not supported by any current policy information or job range.
that person is not here to speak to any of this, so please, it's.
Sorry, I just described the facts.
Well, you're arguing something from 6 months ago regarding a person who's not here, who's not able to answer for the accusations. And if those accusations are to be brought as actual claims of doing something wrong, it'd have to be handled in closed session with probably union reps and attorneys and all the other kind of things of that nature.
Okay, well, just ask the question. A contract has to be approved and processed with the board.
Not,
Well,
You're saying the contract is not required to be approved?
the chief hires.
That's a hire, that's not a.
We approve and we have something to do with hiring the chief.
So it's not a contract, but of an employee. It's not a contract. Somebody, these guys, whether they were hired, either a specific job, just like all these other positions, you're putting them in exactly that category when you put them on this job description. These aren't contractors. These are not contractors. These are paid employees.
And I put it to you that at this point, since it's been over 6 months that they've been here and getting paid these rates, that at this point, it would either take legal action to try and reclaim funds from them, or we accept that they are currently being paid at these rates, and that if we want to change the rates they're being paid at, then we need to take separate action. To me, I'm saying for now, we need to state it as it is, not as maybe how it should be, but as it is. Because it has been going on from a time before you or I, either one got put on the board, and it was done by a previous, our current chief, that is not available to be questioned at this time. So what we can do at this point is somewhat limited. So my thought is, let's state that we're understanding and accepting that this is currently going on. And if we need to make changes to it, then we'll need to have further discussions. In comment.
That should be basically given this is having to be done to correct the error, and then the future needs to be addressed as a change to this after this is put in place and approved.
That's my thought, is we need to go ahead and state this is what it is. Because otherwise, we're just gonna start trying to make arguments that are gonna end up in court. At least we can say this way, this is what it is. And if we want to try and change it, then we need to figure out how to change it. Pretty much a loophole that we didn't know was there, got used by the chief with the prior board. And you and I ended up inheriting this problem.
Yeah, and I guess my question that is, when did we know this? When did we know this was the case? These pay rates were being paid.
I found out before the last meeting. I brought it to the closed session last time when we talked about it.
Thank everybody on the board. I'm just got up on that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get my brain to even think at the moment. I'm running on fumes. Remind me of the question.
The question is,
Completely lost it. I was aware that they were hired.
at 49.
Yeah, when finance, yeah, when we. No, this was when they were hired by our chief. And I was. When were they hired by our chief? Last summer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you,
I was aware that they were hired.
I asked you.
I no, I was not aware of it back then. No.
Okay, so
Sorry, go.
no, so
That's my yeah.
okay, so that's so you came at the same time. That
Yes.
Okay.
So Bravo, you had a.
So, we were actually hired in September 5th, for clarification. Everything that you guys were told and reiterated by everybody at this board, Mr. Williams. And furthermore, we're paid 20 hours a week, period.
That's it.
And I can tell you that between Chief Holmski and a full-time job and 2 kids, Chief Bellarine, don't want to count how many jobs he has, as well as this place, and myself, who has 3 jobs and 2 kids still at home. Put more than 60 to 80 hours a week into this career. And those additional 40 to 60 hours are uncompensated. I'm quite offended. Sir, I'm speaking. I'm frankly quite offended that there is so much pushback against this motion to do it correctly, this issue to do it correctly. We're not at fault here. But you want to punish us.
Okay. This conversation is.
Let me make what was just said, and you suggest this as well. I would say right now, I think it's by their labor practices that we have got to tell these people they cannot be working without being paid. You cannot work for this department. You cannot work for this department without saying that you're, going to have those hours. We have legal. I think we have legal risk in that. Is
We have several
later
people that
on
work as volunteers.
That's not acceptable.
I think that what you're trying to say needs to go before legal before you make an issue of anything in a public thing. We are a partial volunteer department. To say that people cannot work here for free, to me, is wrong. And we need to get clarification on exactly what verbiage we should or should not say before we open ourselves up to any kind of an issue.
Thank you.
Okay, I will admit I'm not float. I'm just suggesting that I think that's a concern. We have potential risk. And point of that is again, just from my experiences, that there is the potential for someone to come back and claim those hours subsequently if they haven't been told clearly that that is not acceptable.
Ask me that question, would you like to?
What question am I supposed to ask?
The agreement that we had with Chief.
Sure.
20 hours a week.
Okay, but the hours doesn't matter. So again, your district is dying.
Mhm.
There is no lie in what I am telling you. Your district is dying.
Yep.
You have 2,000 residents in this community and I can't get 20 to answer the call. Ones who could, half. They're no longer with us. Thank you for your service. But your doors are going to close. And you have 4 individuals working their tails off for this community. And I'm fighting booze, I'm fighting bingo, and I'm fighting an obstructionist board in order to make sure that these men and women go out that door when we get a call. This is a 4-hour meeting and this is what you guys come up with. But we still show up every day, whether I'm at home on my computer or in this office.
Thank you. So we're gonna
Linnea, it has absolutely nothing to do with any kind of personal issue with you. I'm protecting this district fiscally. Let me explain to you that over the past 5 years, the average total annual officer pay has been $120,000 for officers. The chief's salary of $82,000 was in that. So that means the officer pay for the year should only be $38,000. At the current running rate of officer pay for the past 7 months, the annual officer pay is going to be $112,757. So that's the current amount that's already been accrued and spent, plus the remaining at the rates that they described, which is the 44 an hour times 20 hours each. So if we can afford, if we have money to close that difference, part of it can be accommodated by a $37,000 per year grant. So that reduces it down to $75,757. But that means we have in the past, and our budget has only been able to support a $38,000 officer pay. We are looking at a $75,757 officer pay, given the continuation of this process at this rate.
Comment?
Yes, please.
The amounts that you're listing do not match with what's in the budget. So if you need to look at a copy of the budget to rephrase things, I can loan you this one. But we have stipends listed $127,750, not including what is done in OES. We have temporary employees showing as $190,000 minus minus 16,000, so it'd be 174,000. Both of those amounts are not matching with the numbers you just listed off. So if you need to look at the budget, it's here.
I've looked at the budget. I spent all that.
We're getting to the point where
That is talking about categories that did not accommodate the officer. Officer positions, I presume, officer positions have not been paid by stipends. You just suggested was the number you referred to, and they weren't in the category of temporary employees. They were included in salary 3,000. The 3,000 account line item is where they were accommodated.
No. They are in temporary employees. They only work 20 hours a week. That makes them temporary employees.
It's a part of
I don't have a capital budget for time.
I think you had a clarification there, sir.
This evening, the board approved 7.2, and in 7.2's issue paper attached to the contract that was attached, if you run the numbers, our administrative fee and our direct costs with the administrative fee, when I was doing this, I ran out the projection in order to pad the numbers for the position that we have right now and recuperate those funds within the budget from Pacific Gas and Electric for the remainder of the fiscal year. So it's all written down right there. The questions about numbers that are coming above and beyond what we're costing the district.
Where's the location for that? You said 7.2? Mr. Williams was 7.2. Yeah, that's the PG&E, the PG&E.
If you read everything, you'll see. You see a lot.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't know to go to the PG&E project. I issue item to determine what information you're suggesting.
Can we get back to the matter at hand? I mean, we brought forward an item to be discussed. I think we've kind of gone around in circles and kind of gotten outside of that area. Do you have anything else specific to 1048?
Yes. So that rate, if you look at it, is our fire chief is being paid $82,000 a year. This is an equivalent pay rate of $39.42 per hour. This rate of $49.44 per hour is 126% of the chief's rate, 125% of the chief's rate. I don't understand how we can afford to pay an equivalent of, I think it's 1.8, if you take the hours that are being actually put in the payroll. You're talking about the equivalent of 1.8 people. So we're talking about taking 1.8 people and putting that on what we already can't afford to pay, and pay at a rate that is 125% of our chief. I just don't understand how we can say that we should continue to do that.
It is one employee, it is not 1.8. The battalion chief won't be certain. Sir, battalion chief won't be paid out of the R&R grant for any work above and beyond. He's a volunteer. He gets paid out of the R&R grant.
Okay, that's
So,
fine.
and Chief Bellerim and I share 40 hours a week, 20 apiece. That is one employee.
Okay.
And again, the recouped in cost of the PG&E contract.
So when we did the sustainability committee activities,
Which is no longer a committee with the MFPD.
Okay,
it's close. The information that was from that was that we had the ability to pay the budget that we get on revenue. We had the ability to support one fire chief, one half of a captain, because the other half could be paid by the R&R grant, and a part-time clerk and administrative person. So I just don't understand where we have come up with the money that accommodates something other than that.
so while we have Chief Dwyer, he has not been available to us. Therefore, the money that is coming back to our district to compensate for his services is paying people who can get what's done, what needs to be done. So, my question right at this point is, how are we gonna move forward right now? Because I'm sitting here, it's 10:10 PM. And we still have quite a bit to go. I'm not gonna make it through a whole lot longer, so I'm gonna ask our board, can we please continue this another night? There's enough left. So let's move through this item, do what we need to do, but I will ask that we can continue this another night so that we can go home. And I can't think of when I think that fall. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you have a comment on this matter?
Yeah.
Can you go to a microphone just so the people online can hear you?
You do an amazing job of managing the budget and putting all that information together. Why don't you just put together a little spreadsheet that shows what's been budgeted and what's being spent now based on whatever anybody's being paid, how many hours they're working? And because I'd be curious to know too, it's like, yeah, but I looked at that, but I can't sort it out. It's very complicated. You've got, you're moving money from temporary, it's coming over here, there's money shown on it, there's coming in from the grant. What I understand, that money hasn't been asked for from FEMA, and so if you could sort out the numbers so that everybody can understand it, I think it can end the conversation.
I try to do that every month when I do the meeting for the study group regarding finances.
I need to sit down and try to put it in a form which everybody can easily understand.
I try to make it presentable every month, and I don't think it's gonna happen this month, but it probably will next.
Okay.
Jay, and Ted's, we did it last workshop. Position with them. You don't have money to cover these people, period. Helping these guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have,
Yeah, this is about,
That was the point I want to go and try to pick up all these things. That is why we have relied on people. That's how this district has maintained itself, and the support from the organizations that wanting to try to help and continue to help, you continue to put them down. I can look around here, I can point to 6 different things in here that the organizations have donated to this place, including upstairs with the kitchen and all the stuff that's been done upstairs. Thousands of dollars have come in from organizations to help keep this place running.
Brent, that's not a current issue.
It takes more than that. The county's about to cut the last thread if we don't get this right. And then we have nothing.
exactly.
That's exactly why I'm having the conversation I'm having. If we don't get this right, we will be bankrupt.
We cannot afford to lose these gentlemen. We can't afford it. We can't afford to lose them. Never mind afford to keep them.
We are not exceeding the amounts we have currently budgeted. According to this here, on temporary employees, which is the category they're paid out of, it's currently sitting at 24% as opposed to 75%. So the fact that they are not charging for every little thing they do is probably what is currently saving us. We, right now, don't need to worry about budget. Budget is not currently the issue. Right now, the issue before us is, do we mark 1048 as the amount of money we're currently paying these people, because that is the amount that has been agreed to by our current chief, which is Ed Dwyer, to pay these people at this rate. Now, to me, I just think we need to get it on paper that this is what we are paying. If people want to argue about whether or not we should be paying them that is a completely different matter for a different time.
This is where our salary survey is gonna come from. Just be aware of that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That's the motion I made, that we approve 1048. It was seconded. I'd like to call for us to go ahead and vote on it, because I'm not seeing any hands online and I'm not seeing any hands in the audience.
Sorry, we have, motion on the table, seconded discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
They-
Any abstentions? No, we've got 3-2.
3-1.
3-2, yeah. Okay, so. At this point, can we agree on a? Is the board amenable to continuing this meeting at a later date? If so, when would that work for you guys?
What items do we have left?
Let me try and pull up that
We
information.
still have a full closed session. We still have.
Let me take a quick gander down those. We
You
have,
guys, I was gonna say, you guys can continue, but I can't, so.
okay,
The closed session, if you want the information. And to give you guys, I can't keep sitting here right now. It's 10:15 and I'm struggling.
due to time, we need to call the meeting because the board president can no longer continue. So the question comes to us, well, at this point, we always said the meetings start wrapping up at 10. I'd like to go to all the way to midnight, but of course, most of you guys don't want to stay until 2 o'clock in the morning.
No.
So the question comes down is, do you guys want to continue for another hour or two it's going to take to wrap this up? Or do we push this off until like tomorrow after the PG&E meeting or something like that. So do the other board members have
That's
comments?
totally up to you guys, however you want to do it. One way or another, I need to get going.
Yeah,
Thank you.
happy to make that decision. We
Thank
just
you.
like to know the answer. What items do we have left?
Okay, what we have left is,
7.13, 8.1, 8.2, 9.
okay, so we have the committee reports, the study session, which is just gonna be a nothing at this time.
Talking about the agenda.
I'm trying to look at the agenda and trying to figure out which ones we still need to deal with. We need to deal with the entire closed session.
Okay, I get that.
Okay, we still need to do.
Quickness, what items in the seventh section?
Okay, we need to deal with the policies as to whether, which ones still remain to be struck. So we still have to deal with the. I think it's 7.8, which is the cleanup of old policies, and of course, we have. The one I'd like to get handled before we close is getting rid of 202. But we also have to deal with all the other stuff from the 4s and 5s and 6s that were left over from last time. It's about 29 policies. We still have to deal with the where's it? Primarily cleanup of the old policies. I'm not seeing. Where's mine? Yeah, maybe we don't have one in mind to do because it didn't get put on the agenda. 202's there, the other.
What was 7?
7.
No, that, oh.
They'll create the policy committee, which got tabled. Chief's report, done. Issue paper regarding PG&E, done. Replacement of the type 1 engine with a surplus engine, that was approved. We still have to deal with the other stuff next week. Or next month.
So here, okay, I marked these correctly. Here's the meter. 711. 712. Was done. So 711. And 713 are the two remaining.
713 got to be done with.
In the seventh section.
Right. That and the regarding the cleanup of the old policies. That 7.8.
Right.
And between 7.8 and 7.13, it did help us decide on how many policies still are to be dealt with. And I'm saying it should be about 30 policies.
Okay. So.
And the entire closed session. I'm suggesting you do it tomorrow after the PG&E. What time's the meeting tomorrow, Lynette?
Yeah, 16 to 17.
16 to 17:30, so we can meet here tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Kirk, do you have a suggestion of a better time? Because this supposed to be out of here by 17:30. Okay, so I make a motion that we adjourn for now and continue this tomorrow at 1900 hours, 7 p.m.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, forum. Continue this till 7 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, closing the session online. And we'll see you all back tomorrow at 7 p.m. I don't know if this is turned off or not. It may not have ever been on.
We had trouble last time. Yeah, able to do that.
Well, the problem is it's not currently saying anything, so I'm thinking it's never been on.
Don't scan that.
I'm not going to.
It's not.
Okay, audio's off.